sound of love.
Hello.
Give
Give me some more. Well,
Hello, everyone.
Some more video of us.
hello. I wonder if there's a way that I can audio only on the phone. Can I do that?
Yeah, you can.
Chat,
Yes, you can.
chat only. Apply. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ghetto DMing. I am at my parents' house. I am in. Well, it's a tiny.
Don't dox
little
yourself.
room.
I'm kidding.
It's yeah.
My address is.
My address is. I'm in the middle of nowhere, basically. Internet connection is quite bad. I don't have a desk, so I'm sat on my bed right now. I have one monitor, which is a rubbish for a DM. I need them as many. Remember when Doc Scott? What?
Oh yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't dog. It didn't. It was very easy to find out.
It was depressingly easy.
Really? Oh my god.
Hi, Snores. Hi,
It's
Paul.
Mum's address!
Yeah, I did.
Kara.
That's so bad. Hi, Kara. Hi, Four. Hi, Snores.
Oh, we
Um,
forgot music.
Also, I found
I'm
him.
not gonna be able to do
You
music.
gave away too much information. I found you. Middle of nowhere, right there. There you are. I found you.
So if you guys want to
Huh?
music up, then feel free. But I won't be able to join you today. With there's just too much going on for me to have to also do music. It would be too much for my brain.
You guys want to do music?
Can do.
Okay.
Dukes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to sort my link out. I'm sorry.
If you guys did,
Your
if you guys didn't do music, because I wasn't doing it, I'd be like, oh, okay. So you're only doing it when I ask you to do it to be polite. Fine.
Or more like, in solidarity, we would go without for you. But the stream would have to go without. So
Or just listen to
Katie's-
K-pop with
Katie
me.
is Katie's so diplomatic.
that's why I play bards.
Do playtime upwards. So, you and friends first.
Docs gets to choose the direction. This is the first time.
Playtime.
He gets fucking playtime
Yeah,
first.
How long the track is.
Beer and
Oh,
friends.
beer and
Beer.
friends.
Be and friends first.
Okay.
Oops.
Hi,
Okay, yeah,
Wells.
tell me when.
Hi,
Hey, Wells.
Goldfinch. How you doing?
Everyone ready?
Yep.
You're gonna count us in? Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Off shuffle.
This is
There was
This
no
is fun.
click, so
This is so exciting. Okay.
you get an entirely new play order. We've never used this one before.
Oh,
Look at my koozie. It's so cute. I got it at the craft fair. It fits bottles and cans. And you just wrap
Oh,
it
I was like,
around
what
it.
the fuck is that?
Ah,
That's cool.
that's cute.
Isn't that cute?
To keep them warm and or cold.
Yeah.
Ugh. You're going
That's
on
cute.
a ride. Hello, friends.
Ooh.
Okay.
We.
This amazing piece of artwork behind me.
Ooh, mysterious.
Is that Grand Central Station?
I think it's definitely a station. Thought it might be Victoria, but I don't know. Anyway,
I was joking because that's one in America, and it would be silly for you to have a painting of an American train station.
I mean, it's also Grand Central's also a train station in Birmingham. It's
Oh.
it's right next to where I
It's
live.
probably the slightly less famous one.
Doxed myself. Anyway. Oh no! Don't look at my camera if it's making you feel travel sick. Look away. Look
No,
away.
it just makes me feel like I'm sat on your lap.
I'm
I kind of like it.
comforted.
Let me cradle you.
Oh.
Hello, Gareth. Hello.
I feel so safe.
Baby. Anyway, let's get away from that. I've been to both Grand Centrals. Wow. Neat. Okay, anyway. Hello. How are you guys?
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. How are
I
you?
had a bagel.
Had a
I'm alright,
bagel?
yeah.
Okay. What kind of bagel
had a
would you have
bagel.
on it?
It was cream cheese and freshly cracked black pepper.
Oh, bitch, you fancy.
Seeded.
Freshly cracked black pepper.
Yeah.
Not a good position for me to start laughing in. Because I'm laying down on a bed. That was. I mean, it was funny, but then also I started like, you know, when you're laughing and it's like a bad laugh, and you just can't. You're like laughing at how painful it is at the same time. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks for asking. So today on Daerd Isle episode
69.
Wait.
sex, pew 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 pew, sex, pew pew pew, sex, pew pew pew.
It was funny until you started doing that.
I think we should try and make no sex jokes in the 69th episode. Because we make loads all the time.
That's
No.
true.
I think that's perfect. In honor of.
In honor of the 69.
There we go.
None of the old stale white pepper for dogs. It must be freshly cracked.
Yep.
Ooh. Fancy. He's a fancy boy.
Wait,
Right.
white pepper?
Only the best. Only Morrison's best.
Morrison's own best.
Not even M&S.
No.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey,
So
Hydra.
today, absolutely no sex jokes.
Not even
No.
one.
It is a completely serious game of D&D.
I didn't say that.
I have made.
Like
rules.
No sex joke.
Agreed.
I
He's
have
no
made the
tuber,
rules.
apparently.
I would like you to not have any fun.
Well, you
But
can
I
just
got
kill
some
us.
wine.
Is that a
Never
straw
drink
as well?
wine. Yes, it's a straw.
Bless you. Okay, well, I guess you can have fun. No one else is allowed fun. Only Jenny.
I'm drinking too. This is an apple pineapple cider.
Shit. Oh, that sounds nice. Damn.
It's fucking delicious.
Whew. Very passionate about this this pineapple cider. What are you drinking, dogs?
Squash.
What kind of
I
squash?
don't have any interesting drinks. It's just orange squash.
Oh.
Fucking... What a fucking
Somebody explain to
loser.
the American what squash is other than a gourd. What?
Oh,
It's like concentrate juice that you put water in to make a drink.
Okay. I was like, what is orange squash? And why are you drinking
Yeah.
something with zucchini in it? Like, what?
anyway, okay, now he's going to have to look up the equivalent of that in America.
Thanks, Orphanage.
Probably just juice
No.
Is
from
that exactly what you're
concentrate.
doing? Dogs, I know you far too well. Every time
Literally.
you start typing, I'm like, what exactly doing.
I just googled orange squash.
Okay,
So that
anyway,
you could find the North American definition. Sorry, continue.
right. So, in last week's episode, we start again. I've had very little time to prepare today because I've been chilling with my family.
Your fam.
My fam, not my D&D fam, my real life fam. And cordial. Do you have cordial over there? I'm looking at Kate's face, and that looks like a no.
The only cordial I've ever heard of is cherry cordial, and I think that that's an alcoholic drink, but I could be wrong. But just concentrate. We would just call it concentrate, and you would just mix it with the water. It's hard to say because
Frozen.
my country is so huge.
Mm.
So, like, what is
Awesome.
true in Texas is probably not true in a lot of other places.
I mean, you could. I mean, I think it's possible that you could say that the US is at least 2 times the size of the UK.
At least.
I think
At
it's.
least.
I think Texas is 2 times the size of the UK.
Yeah, usually Texas alone.
All right, I was making a joke. Anyway, sorry. No,
It's
you're
not a
right. There were
sex
no
joke,
jokes
it's
today.
fine.
No
Not
fun here.
jokes
No,
today.
no
No
sex
jokes.
joke.
That wasn't even a sex joke. That was just a normal joke.
I know. I said no jokes at all.
Oh,
This is a serious game.
But it's all I have.
I know.
Also, I like how we've got the tags for the stream under Dungeons and Dragons. We've got roleplay,
Mhm.
accurate. Persistent campaign, good. English, also accurate. Good character.
Good characters. I saw
Wait,
that. I
does
was
that
like,
mean
why
our
does it say
us?
good characters? And it was like for characters who are like on the scale of good.
Oh,
Yeah,
So, I was
it's-
like, all right, okay, sure.
At first, I was like, ooh, a bit
hashtag humble.
and then I realized that it was also like you could have evil characters or good characters, whatever.
Next week we're having shit
Uh,
characters was the tag. See if that helps.
That would be good.
Dead
I've
char-
never
hashtag
made
dead
a shit
characters.
character.
All my characters
Just can't
forever
do
have
it.
been amazing.
Mhm.
It's
They're all interesting and have a lot of depth.
right. Anyway, so
Face to face
Last
with
week.
Robert.
Hi, Nate.
Last week. Hi, Nate. Damn it. Say
What happened
fuck.
last week?
Last week, you were leaving Providence with
Dang it.
Casimir in tow. You made your way out into the wilderness, found your way to the bridge that crossed over over the troubled water to Luscar. Before you got there, you saw an old man with a cart and some twitchy
Fingers.
twitchy flap at the back of the cart. You saw somebody in there, but you didn't want to look into it. Then you arrived at the bridge. On the bridge, we had a bit of a discussion about towers and the architecture of towers. If you haven't, check out my Twitter, where I made a comprehensive list of all the different types of towers, and it took me maybe 30 minutes.
Brilliant.
There's not going to be another tower in the whole of the campaign.
I really wanted to show it to Scraticus, because the last time we were talking about different types of towers and stuff. He was in the chat, and he was streaming recently, and I was like, Scraticus, go check my Twitter, go check my tower tweet. But he got distracted, so I don't think he ever saw it, which is a shame, because that is I saved that list because it's useful for yeah, baby. See, I'm useful. And anyway, we found out a little bit more about towers. But you came to the
D&D
bridge,
is just a learning experience, is what it is.
and technically it was a bridge tower with a turret. And on the bridge was a shit ton of corpses. You realize that basically the bridge had been the site of some kind of confrontation, possibly between the Luscarians returning from Providence and the Black Hilt mercenaries that were previously occupying Luscar. You found their corpses, riddled with usual injuries, cuts and bruises and stabs, rather than claw marks and teeth marks and spell marks. And continued on your way with little ado onto the Collector's Tower. Once you arrived there, you realized that the tower was somehow very reminiscent of something else that you had seen in a far-off land, maybe another life.
In a previous life.
This tower was a very odd, higgledy-piggledy mess of many other buildings. It looked like maybe it had been created of lots of one-story houses, and as they started going upwards, you realize that they started being very bizarrely formed. Some of them were on their sides, some of them were back to front, some of all this kind of stuff. You entered the building, or you knocked on the door. You were very polite. And on knocking on the door, the door was slightly opened ajar, not by the force of the knock, but by some other force. And from within, you heard a voice saying, "Come on in."
Just like that.
You were like,
Is that how it
"Cool."
sounded?
You were like, "Cool, sounds great." So you came on in. You realize that the inside of the house was very bizarre. Nothing seemed to do anything other than, it was either very functional or simply exactly how you thought something might look if someone didn't really understand how things were supposed to work. For example, paintings, rather than being a sheet of parchment or whatever that's been painted on and put in a frame and then put on a wall, it was plastered on the wall itself. Quite a sight to behold. I love it. Anyway, as you continued up this building, you realized that the interior of each was very much like the last. It appeared that the first room was maybe an entrance hallway. It had some bizarrely functional stairs that took you up to the next floor, which was a kind of living room. You had a kitchen. You had kind of a dining room that had a piano. And it was all very bizarre. As you got to the roof, you decided that the only way up was this flight of this ladder. As you were climbing to the ladder, there was a trapdoor at the top that you pushed open. The thing you were climbing turned into a slope that pushed you into the ceiling, like some kind of weird anti-gravitational trap. You were face to eye, or face to eyes, with a beholder who introduced himself as Robert. He then specifically called you names that you didn't recognize, strange names that wouldn't really fit in this universe, nothing you've ever heard of before. Jenny, James, and Katie. Very bizarre. And anyway, he beckoned you over with one of his eye stalks and said, "Come, sit with me, have some tea." The room that you are in currently is what you would think is an observation kind of observatory. There is a large telescope on the ceiling facing directly into the floor. So it does not do anything at all.
Unless you want to look at the floor.
Unless you want to look at the floor. It is the ceiling in itself looks like a domed observatory, you imagine, if you can imagine it in a fantasy setting. There is a crank on one of the walls that maybe peels back these metal screens that would allow you to peer off into the sky. However, again, the telescope is facing the floor, and you haven't yet investigated it. On the far
If
side of
it's
the room,
even a telescope
if
at
it's
all.
even a telescope.
Nothing else has been real so far, so.
On the beholder device used to keep animal stationery. Keep their animal stationery.
Insects.
Why would you not
Like
just hold
the little
your bees?
pencil?
You make it sound like it's a cage made of bees rather than a cage for bees.
Maybe it is.
Hey Jack, thank you for subscribing for 15 months in a row.
15
Oh
months in a
my
row.
God.
Holy
Where's
shit.
That's so many months.
So
That's
many
like
months.
More than 14 months.
That's a
Oh,
many,
you're good at
months.
math,
But not as
Stocks.
many as 16 months.
He's good at this. He knows exactly
Better
what
luck,
he's doing.
better luck next time. Maybe you'll get to 16.
Hi,
Jack,
Jack.
next
How's it
time.
going, buddy? What a boy. What a good boy. Anyway. At the far end of the room is a small table with 4 chairs. Hovering over one of the chairs is your new friend, Robert, the Beholder.
Yeah.
Bob the Beholder. As Fool said.
Bob the Beholder. I got one good boy off Tom. That's made my week.
Too bad it's Sunday. Oh, some people's week
Hey,
starts on a
some
Sunday.
people- yeah, some people think that
Yeah,
weeks start on
weirdos.
Sundays.
Yeah, true. But still.
Weirdo.
Because it starts on
mentalist.
Monday.
Clearly. Well, there you go. I'll, maybe
So do
I'll
your
save them.
calendars go from Monday to Sunday on your weeks?
It depends. Sometimes they go
Uh,
Sunday to Sunday.
Yes, my calendar does.
Yeah.
Does yours go
This
Sunday
world is
to Saturday?
baffling.
We always think of Sunday as the start of the week. And just like crazy people do that. And I'm like, why is everything backwards? I don't understand.
Why is Sunday the start of the week?
It's all the little things that are
It's
different.
the end of the weekend.
That's probably just something like culturally relevant to like the extreme religious tendencies in the history of like the formation of the country. But
Because of church? Question mark?
But it's surely
well,
Sunday,
yes.
they rest at the end of the however many days that God created the world in, right?
Yeah, I mean, God's been spending this entire time making the world.
That's what the Seventh-day Adventists say, and why they do church on Saturday.
What?
Yeah.
Fucking bonkers, honestly. I suppose if Sunday was the start of the week, it might make Mondays better.
No.
Yeah,
No.
it's still the first day of the week you would work.
And that's why they're called weekends, because there's one on each end of the week. Weekend.
Oh, like bookends.
Yeah.
No, because you say it's the weekend. It's not. It's one of the weekends.
Yeah, and the weekend is one of the weekend days. Well, Shabbat is Saturday as well for Jews. See? And they came first, so.
Oh my god. Okay. That's very strange. Anyway. So,
I just like these offhand comments turn into a conversation every time because I'm like, what? No. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, welcome, Jennifer, James, and Katie. Yes, I can see you pulling that face.
Do those names line up with our characters, or are they all swapped around?
No, they are lining up with your characters just for ease. Because praise to Sunday.
Combination.
Because these strange names are now the characters take on as you have been named by the beholder. Robert. Why does my camera look like so framesy? It looks like the FPS is really
so
low.
much. It's got so much motion blur on it to make it cool.
Yeah, well, that makes sense to me. I don't know why it's being so framesy. I don't remember the last time I used it. It was that framesy.
It's probably because of the internet.
Possibly.
I can make my top lip disappear when I do that.
Quality of service. I don't know. Bizarre. Oh well. Right. Anyway, so you've been face to eye with this beholder for all of 20 seconds so far. Come, sit.
Do I see place markers with names or anything?
Yes, you do.
Are they
Oh.
the same
Yeah, but you can't
names?
see the names from where you are, though.
Oh. Well, I assume we can all see that, right?
Yes.
And I'm just gonna slowly walk over.
Stand up and
Nothing is wrong.
brush myself off. Why, thank you. That's so kind of you. And I look
Okay.
around for the Hyacinth, and if I don't see Hyacinth, the Katie, because he looked at us when he said the names, right?
Yes. No, he was very, very particular. If you go up towards the Hyan, if you go up towards the name plaques, you can see that they have been very poorly written. Like, I don't know, if someone had a pen in their mouth and they were trying to write something. But you notice that it's had many names written there previously. It looks like the name has been written on, scrubbed out, or poorly scratched out, and then written over. So you can barely see your name. You can barely see anyone's name. It's just a mess of like scrambled letters. You don't recognize any of them, or even the kind of figures that would make letters. It's an absolute mess. So it's kind of guesswork as to who is sitting where.
May I try to investigate them?
Sure. I am not signed into Roll20, so...
25, critical!
Oh, 25. Okay, so what is it you're trying to investigate?
The place cards, to see if I can take a really close look and figure out which ones they are so we don't offend him by sitting in the
Oh, I
wrong
see.
ones.
Okay, so you're looking to see if you can determine which of the place markers is accurate. Okay. Well, with a 25, you vaguely managed to see that there's a fine layer of dust. It doesn't look like actually it's been written on. It looks like maybe it's been carved. It's like when somebody uses a pen on a piece of paper and they push too hard, and you can see there's a very fine dust. And you can see vaguely a K. You can vaguely see a D. No, not D. A J, and then the I you can see an R. So you can assume, you can deduce
Which three?
Which three are the seats for each of you.
And Casimir is the one that I didn't point out.
Yes. Well, Casimir is, he stood there very confused while you guys are kind of going along with this ruse.
Do I know anything about beholders?
You tell me. Does that make sense for your character to know anything about beholders?
Probably. I feel like they're the kind of thing that young children get told about as like scary stories, and that would probably be like the extent of the.
Okay. You can roll an Arcana check to know if you know anything about it. Also, 2 additional things. Anne, with the bits.
Thank you.
And Nath wasn't here for Casimir's return.
Oh, Nathan doesn't know anything. Oh.
Casimir has
Oh.
returned.
What you mean you didn't catch up on last week's episode before you came into this
Or
one?
watch the highlight video before that. Damn it, Dave.
It was on a Wednesday, so maybe he was busy watching one of his various shit programs.
Oh, one of his cooler things. It's more
Casimir's
important.
back on the party's escape from for fuck's sake, Nathan. As the party was leaving Providence, they were Casimir is basically hot shit now. They returned as they were leaving Providence. They heard the clippity clops of a galloping horse whilst they were walking their horses. Oh, I hear a bloop. A 4. Fantastic.
And a
Good stuff.
13.
I know they're scary.
Casimir has now returned. Casimir is in his bright, shining new armor. He's never seen a day in battle. His flesh and his scales are glistening in the skin. Oh my god!
In the skin. Ugh.
It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? I mean,
got
I
skin
clearly
growing over
haven't
his
been
scales.
articulate enough today, and I haven't warmed myself up to speaking. This is like when I had to talk about the fucking furniture last game.
You
I
just go
can
through
get-
like
I just go through all the different types of furniture and
Yeah.
figure it out. You know it's bad when you've got a third person in it. Hey now, Casimir's returned. Casimir is back. He's in glorious shape. He's got fancy new armor and weaponry. He is now in one piece and he's alive. Most
He
important.
looks like he's been working out a bit.
Yeah. It looks like he's back in the flesh rather than in the decaying flesh. He has been returned to full life by his deity as a reward for sacrificing himself for the greater good. Is that painting slightly askew?
yes.
Oh.
That was definitely a skew. No, that was alright.
Just take it off and put it on the ground.
It's flat now. It's like it's straight.
Yeah.
Green shot.
It's
Types down time code.
Yeah,
really
just 35 minutes.
I was gonna say, I really hope that goes in the highlight video.
Everything's fine. Hey guys, what's up? So yes, Casimir has returned, and he is back in all of his glory, more so than he was before. He is very happy to have come back to see you guys, and he has dedicated his sword to your cause. He says that he wants to travel with you and help you, as you are his party. You are his family, even, because he has been without companionship for 300 years. And then he died. and then he came back.
Can you get back?
Anyway, so you are currently in the company of your best friend forever. I'm glad that got... What? Baboon Doggo? Observant Spunky Baboon Doggo?
It's just
What a great clip name! What a great clip
It's
name.
amazing.
Observant Spunky Baboon Doggo.
Wow.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
That better not be a
That's
sex
amazing.
joke.
No sex
Not
jokes today. Not on episode 69. We're keeping it clean, family friendly. Families don't involve sex. There's no sex in family.
No sex.
Not at all.
Not in the family. Definitely not in the family.
No. Oh no. Well, I mean, you need to create a family.
Yeah, but once it's created,
But once it's created, it's over.
that's it.
It's
You draw a line under that.
Yeah. No. It's functional. You know. You procreate and then you're done. You know. So yeah, no one's allowed to have fun apart from.
Why are you laughing, Jenny? It's not a joke.
I'm allowed to have fun.
Yes,
Jenny's
Casimir at the table.
Casimir comes and he stands between, and you see that actually there are seats that are available. One seat is currently in use by Robert. And I say in use, I mean he is floating above it. And as Casimir stands there looking very confused, you see that he has the beholder looks him up and down and says, and you can see that the floor starts to bubble for a moment, and after it starts bubbling, it kind of looks liquid for a second before very quickly shooting up into maybe 4 feet high into a solid block. And then he starts to kind of like, you can see that he and several of his eye stalks, you notice that he has maybe 10 eye stalks, not including his large eye on the front of his face. They start focusing specifically on this chair and this piece of square whatever, and it starts to kind of bubble and liquidate, and it just forms vaguely into a chair shape. You can see that it is glued entirely to the floor, and that there is no space at all between the chair legs. It's just a big block and then a backrest. And he kind of looks him up and down and goes, "You look like a Thomas! You will be Thomas!" And he sets him down and tells him where to sit. And Casimir takes his seat. Looking at you guys, most importantly, he's just like, "What is going on here? Why are we... This abomination is... He's saying it very quietly to the side.
This Robert.
This Robert fellow is... I will play along with your game. I do not like it.
Because it would be rude not to enjoy someone's hospitality while they're being
Yes, it
hospitable.
would be rude to not enjoy someone's hospitality. A person.
Like Robert.
Yes. Like Robert. Yes.
Monstrosities
He looks you
are
up and
people
down,
too.
And he does not at
Hashtag.
all. Hashtag. He does not look happy with that at all. But he's waiting for the party to make their own calls. Are you going to take your designated seats? Hyacinth, are you going to direct your other party members to the chairs?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, going to make it very clear to them where they should be sitting. So
Hand waves.
yeah, as you make your way towards the table, you have a chance to properly inspect the plaques, and you see that Susan and Dane walk towards the table, and they look very confused as to where they should be sitting. But you're just like, no, it's these ones. Just sit.
Hey, Teeks.
I'm not sure this beholder is a that he likes to break walls.
He is breaking down barriers. Wasn't that the Eurovision thing this year? Breaking down barriers or something? Never mind. Keep going.
I think he's referring to breaking the fourth wall. Regarding
Yeah, that's another.
my naming technique, yeah. Which is very clever. Hi, Tika. How you doing? How you doing, chicken? Right.
Look at all those chickens.
Look at all those chickens. I smell like beef.
I smell like beef. It's freaking bats.
Beef.
I love Halloween. That's the same girl.
Yeah. I'm with you. I've been waiting for this episode for years. I don't know what you're referring to. It is episode 69. It is the episode before 70.
Exactly, nothing to celebrate.
After 68, there is nothing interesting about this episode.
The next special episode is the next one, right? Because
Yes.
it's 70.
Yeah.
70 is a big number.
Mhm.
So we should be happy about number 70, not
Yeah.
this number, which is
Nope.
inferior and lesser.
Yep.
It is
Absolutely nothing remarkable other than the fact that we're here playing D&D,
yes, absolutely.
which
That's
is
something else,
remarkable.
Which we should continue doing.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we should stop here. But only bad things.
I smell like beef.
Are ahead.
I think we're done. We should just start quoting vines that Doc probably hasn't seen.
R.I.P.
I have seen that one like 2 months after it was a thing.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
finally like, oh, okay, I
Story
get it.
time.
Oh, I get it. It smells like beef. Okay, he smells like beef. I get
But
it.
it just smelled like beef. It's fine.
It smells like beef. Okay, so you all take a seat, and in front of you, you can see that there are.
They were roommates. Damn it, Nave. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop.
And you can see in front of you are some teacups and a cup of what the fuck do you call those little plates that you have?
Saucer?
Saucer.
There are saucers underneath the teacups, and there is a jug in the middle. A jug of brown liquid.
Jug.
It is a jug. And not only is it a jug, which I'm saying with a guttural g, jug, there is a thick layer of skin over the top.
Like human skin or
Like gravy? How
It is a very thick, liquidy skin at the top of whatever is in this decanter. That makes you feel like that's probably been there for a while. And he kind of hovers there above you. He tries to hover himself slightly lower. Oh man, friendly beholder time! What I missed.
Hi, time.
Oh, thank God, everyone calls them saucers. One thing that our country has in common. Hi, time. How's it going? So anyway, he floats slightly close to the seat as he can get. You see that his is actually a stool, a chair, like the rest of you. You have backs to your seats, and he does not. And he floats very low, and he eyes you up very intently with all of his stalks, going between each of you to make sure that he can get a good angle on you. He says, yes, have a drink. It would be rude not to.
It would be, wouldn't it?
And he uses one of his eye stalks to levitate the jug. You can see that there is a kind of a very there's a tangible change in the air between one of his eye stalks and the jug. Before you see for a split second it shimmers and then starts to lift effortlessly, and it makes its way across the table towards Jennifer.
Why did you have to use my
Oh baby, oh baby.
That's not fair. No one else has an extended first name other than me.
I do. He just doesn't know it.
Is it Catherine?
No.
No. The name's Katie to be short for.
Doug's googling.
Kara, you're not allowed to say.
Sorry, I googled Katie Short anyway, and it's just showing me lots of short Katies.
Oh.
I'm not one of those either.
So you're not a Catherine. Shit. You know what the funny thing is? When I was thinking about this,
No.
Katrina.
I'm not allowed to say it anyway.
You can say it. I don't care.
Is it Katrina?
No.
Damn
No, I don't know.
it. Guess.
Oh, Anne's here too. Anne, you're not allowed to tell him.
Guess.
Guess.
Everyone in chat should guess.
And if you guess right, you get an inspiration point.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Sure, why not?
Doc just starts guessing.
Names.
The worst part was when I was thinking about this part of the
And
story.
do you have an inspiration point from Tom yet for this game? You guys can guess if you're gonna get an inspiration point.
They
Duh.
can't guess if they know. That's not the same as guessing.
That's not guessing,
giving an
that's
answer.
calling.
It's not Caitlin. I'm surprised at how difficult this has been.
Maybe it's just not
Luna.
a common name.
It's oh yeah, especially over here. Maybe it's something crazy. Maybe it's something
Winter.
bizarre. But I was thinking about this thing. I was like, what's Katie short for? I couldn't think, and I still. Kathleen.
Time got it.
Oh, Kathleen.
But you spelled it wrong. Oh, Katie Ann.
Kathleen. I never would have guessed that in a million years.
Nope.
Kathleen. Okay, well now you're called Kathleen in the game.
Ann knows how to spell it even.
Give me my point. Damn right you get it.
I think Time should get a point for guessing properly, and Anne should get a point for spelling it properly.
Girl, you're just trying to give inspiration points to yourself through your proxies. No.
Yes, I am.
No.
I have one.
Time gets one.
Time gets one.
Time gets an inspiration point. No, boot! I can't even spell boot!
I love it. Is he gonna call me Kathleen now? Oh, you have to
He's gonna
wait
call
until
you
I do
Kathleen.
something that makes him mad, and then he'll call me Kathleen.
I need to just remember that it's Kathleen. I'm really bad with names, so playing D&D is very difficult for me, especially when I'm DMing and I don't constantly take notes of names that I make up mid-game. Every now and again, I have to say Casimir. 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 Okay. When I'm in trouble by Anne, it's Katie Ann. Oh. She doesn't call you Kathleen when you're in trouble.
No, only my mother did that. But I have a friend named Kate who is a Kathleen, and when she's moved now, but when she still lived here and we'd be at her mom's house hanging out, her mom would sometimes walk in and be like, Kathleen, we both jump. What?
Who's in trouble?
Which one?
Okay, Kathleen. Gotta remember that. Kathleen. Okay. It's gonna take me a while to get that stuck in my head properly. In fact, chances are I will forget that. Ooh, give it to an NPC. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Or,
Don't give it to the beholder.
Or give it to Robert.
Give it to Casimir.
Go to Casimir.
Yeah.
Or
Casimir's an NPC.
Casimir.
to Robert.
Casimir.
Not to Robert.
Robert.
Robert doesn't need any help. He's got disintegration rays.
Very true.
We could
What
die.
am I talking about? And no point has that ever come into play ever.
Apart from when you killed all of
I've
us
never disintegrated anybody.
in a past life.
At no point have I ever turned anyone into dust.
You petrified me, and you turned someone else into dust. You turned someone into dust in this campaign.
Yes.
Just not with a beholder.
Like 20 episodes ago. Like, not even 20 episodes ago. Less than a third of the campaign ago has somebody been disintegrated.
But I would like to. They walked by piles of
Piles of
dust
dust to get here. Yes.
I mean, that's not the same though. That's not me actively turning someone into dust. That's someone.
That's you making up a history of the fact that people have been turned into dust.
Yeah.
That's you
not the
actively
same.
turning someone we didn't know into dust.
Actively,
That's worse.
passively. Anyway, literally last episode there were big old piles of dust.
Tom, you pay such good attention. Will you take notes for us?
Yeah.
Doesn't he? He takes
Whenever-
such a good,
All the things you forget, can you tell us?
What? It's him and Snorts.
For real, though.
Fantastic.
Our lore keepers.
They
Absolutely.
pay more attention than we do.
They remember things better than
No,
I
I keep good notes. I just feel bad typing a bunch while you're talking, so I
Oh, I understand. Do you not have an easy mute key?
do, but then I forget to unmute it and I say stuff, and then I'm like, oh no, why is nobody listening to me?
Oh, that's okay. Half the time I've got the camera up so I can see if you're like, Katie, unmute yourself. Okay. Anyway,
Premeditated dusting.
the
Sorry, go ahead.
jug with the thick layer of skin is floating directly in front of you, Jennifer.
Huh.
How does
Thick.
Susan feel?
How thick?
How does Susan feel about the idea of consuming whatever this beverage is?
I mean, she drinks a lot of strong alcohol, and she doesn't really care too much. So maybe she'll just put her in the mind of that and be like, it's just some... I'm just going to pretend to take a big gulp, and it won't really be a big gulp, and it'll be fine. It'll be over before you know it.
Okay. So, are you gonna take the jug from levitating and decant some of this liquid?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can.
So as you bring it towards your very tiny little teacup, you begin to pour into the words.
Cup.
Into
Teacup.
the cup. I was gonna say into the. Anyway, so you begin to pour it, and the thick skin kind of makes its way towards the front of the decanter and just goes.
Oh, that's
and
that's disgusting.
You can see that it separates, and it kind of like you can see there's like a jagged line as it's carved itself and split. Then a little bit of the liquid kind of like slops over the side and kind of hits your saucer. And it goes, "Ah, see, that's what saucers are for." You can see that the kind of gunky mixture that was on top has now kind of settled a little bit, and some of it has dispersed. You can see a couple of specks of other colors in there that you don't really want to think about too much. But the drink is now in your cup. and you're welcome to pass on the decanter.
I'll pass it on.
Who would you
Also,
like to
feel
pass it to?
indulgent. Whoever's next to me. Well, I don't know where
Yeah,
I
we
am.
don't know what
So-
order we're in.
Okay, so first was Casimir,
Mhm.
or sorry, Tom, and then Hyacinth, and then we had Susan and Dane.
Oh.
So he's given it to someone in the middle of the group.
Give it to Dayd then, I guess.
Yeah.
Pass back to them.
Okay, I'm gonna try something because that looked horrible. I want to go and be like, how could I forget? What kind of a guest would we be if we didn't bring a present for the host for having such a lovely, lovely tea party? How I'm so sorry. I do apologize. And I take the pitcher that turns water into wine out of my sack because it's quite ornate anyway, so it looks like a present.
Sure.
I go,
yeah.
here, this one. This is so much nicer.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
nice.
fancy. Collecting things. Perhaps I will collect decanters. Yes, okay. So one of his beams kind of looks over at you, and you can feel a tug at the decanter in your hand. You're gonna just kind of let it go and just.
Yeah, they're like, well, we should use it now.
Okay. Well, you feel the tug cease,
Oh,
and it remains in your hand. It says, "Yes, yes, yes. Pour for everybody."
okay. I don't know if there's anything in it already.
I have some water here.
Ah,
Take out a
The,
water skin.
He hovers over to you, and it's very worryingly close. He clearly has no understanding of personal space. You can see that his stalks, some of them are longer than others. One of them has now made its way to the other side of your head, whilst his large eye is basically right at the tip of your crown, and his heavy, large, gaping maw is right next to your face. You can feel his hot, wet breath on your cheek. Yes, that's a perfect image from a
I was so close to making a sex joke right there.
You can feel his hot, wet breath on your cheek and down your neck. In fact, you feel like there's maybe a slight kind of perspiration on your skin, and a small drip goes down your armor, just between a crack and a crevice, and it lands on your shoulder. Kiss! Now kiss! Space Invader. I love it. Everyone was close. We're not making any jokes today.
No sex jokes.
Absolutely no jokes.
This is a clean episode.
100%. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he's right up in your face and rancid. You can smell his breath. It's almost thick, and the air, you can almost chew the air. But the decanter is in front of you. It's still in your hands. The cup is in front of you, and you've been handed some water.
Okay, so I'll just top the pitcher up with the water.
Okay.
Speak the magic word. There.
Okay. So you can see that his eye gets even wider, and he goes, "Oh!" and he looks very intensely at the decanter. As you can see the magic word, as you say it, you can see that the runes on the side of the decanter start to vaguely light up in a very kind of subtle hue, and the water inside kind of swirls and like a little kind of whirlwind before it settles down again in a completely different color. And you're going to decant.
Yeah, I'll pour some into my little teacup. But
Okay.
I'll make sure I don't give myself, like, if the teacup's like this, I'm only going to fill it up like this much.
Only a small amount. Okay.
I'm hoping that the holders get drunk. This is my
Okay.
plan. Does he have a
Alright, okay.
teacup on his, like...
He does have a teacup.
Okay,
yes.
I'm going to, like, top his teacup all the way up.
Okay,
like,
so
so it's like-
he's watching incredibly intense. As you move the teacup, the decanter, over to his side of the table and you start pouring it, he's following your hand as if it was like here. Like his face is like right next
like
to
a
it. Because
kitten.
he's keeping incredibly watch of your decanter, most importantly, but also the way in which you pour. And I mean, unless you've had any kind of training in dinner etiquette,
No.
chances are you're just like get it in. So it looks like he's just watching as you pour it, like, oh yes, okay. Yes. And he's now looking very intensely at his cup. But then he looks up and he looks at the other party members and he looks back down at his cup and he's kind of put his head to a level where he can see his cup and the heads of you behind it, so that he can kind of observe you all at once. But you notice that his eye stalks are now kind of one or two of them are intensely focusing on the cup in front of him. One or two of them are on you and each of the party members, but then there are a couple that are specifically focusing on the decanter as you hold it around.
Okay. I'll go around everyone else and just like give them some, but I won't give them a huge amount. I'll just give them a little bit in the bottom of their cup.
Okay.
Not like, I don't want to make it super obvious.
Well, what are you gonna do for Jennifer?
I'll be like,
Every time.
sorry, and then just skip.
So you're skipping her.
Yeah.
Love
Be
it.
like, sorry.
Fantastic. Okay. So he kind of looks. You can see that he's still very, very intensely staring at his cup. Now what?
How we drink.
Yes.
What's the
You can
next?
see that he moves over and he, in one fell swoop, consumes the entirety of the teacup and the saucer and the liquid inside it. His teeth bite down on the side of the table, and you can hear the gnawing crunch as his teeth grind through whatever material this table is made out of, and it kind of like he just draws it back into his mouth, tilts himself backwards, and he gulps. And you can see that there are now huge marks and indentations in the table where he's been pulled his face along it, and he watches you very closely.
Dane like puts the picture down relatively near him, like not in the middle of the table, so near him.
Okay.
And then he picks up his teacup with like little fingers like this, pinky in the air.
Yeah. Okay, so as you do that, you notice that one eyes that were previously observing the room or other people move very closely to you. You can see that some of them, like I said, some of them are longer than others, so some of them are still quite close to his head, and you can see them kind of looking from the back, whereas others are like close here, and they've moved themselves like tentacles as close to you as they possibly can, very intensely, specifically observing the little finger that you've got going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
then
it's
he
very nice.
continues waiting for the rest of the. Gulp.
Take a sip.
Casimir kind of like, oh yes, I forgot that I can taste now. I can get drunk again. And he takes the cup over to you and he says, "What is this measurement? You are a dwarf, no?"
Yes, that's the normal measurement that everybody got.
The beauty of it, Tom, is that you can always have more if you would like.
Yes.
I see.
Savor the
Ah,
flavor.
Yes, I, Thomas, will drink this. Like, yes, Thomas thinks that this was very tasty. And
Yes.
he looks around the table and he's like still very confused, very skeptical of the entire situation. And he looks at the beholder and, Robert, what did you think of your beverage? And he Robert returns his gaze to Tom or Thomas, and he says, "Yes, good. I liked it very much. I liked it.
Oh, would you like another one? There's
Yes."
plenty left. Have
Well,
you?
you realize that he has no cup left.
Yes. Do you have any more cups?
Cups.
Who needs a cup when you could
cups,
just
cups.
drink from the ewer?
Don't give him the picture.
Oh, that's fair.
He's just gonna eat.
No, yes, of course, cups. You see that for a second he focuses again on the table. The table stops having these huge indented marks in it, and it starts to flow very slightly. You can see that there is a definite division in where the table is still completely flat and where it starts to wobble like the surface of water. After a couple seconds, the creases and the indentations start to iron themselves out with the water and fill back in. After they've finished, you can see that a small disc starts spinning from the inside of the table and makes itself into a saucer pattern, kind of like you see when people are making clay and working them into different shapes, except obviously without any hands. And I want a magic table. And it kind of separates itself into its own own being, and then a teacup slowly begins to form and spin into place. And then he observes you very closely, waiting for you to fill his cup.
I fill his cup up again,
Okay.
and
So-
I top everyone else up a little bit.
Okay, fantastic. So Casimir kind of waits expectantly with with his cup, kind of like obviously very keenly across the table, waiting specifically for you to fill it. He says, "Yes, that will be very good. You have this entire time you have had a magic full of wine.
Yeah, but I was saving it for a gift.
I see.
For Robert.
Just for a
Okay.
special
All right.
occasion.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you have waited this entire time to show me this. Like very, he's Kara, please,
Kara.
Kara.
It's because he's being Casimir, whose first language isn't common, and he's having to stop and think of the word in common.
Yeah, Kara.
Kara.
In any case, he once again takes a giant chunk out of the table, grinding his teeth as he pulls his face across the surface.
So he
And you
hasn't
hear
learned.
the crunching of the teacups in his mouth. You can kind of see that the whatever material that the stuff is made out of has kind of cracked, and you can see that there are small cuts on his tongue, but he doesn't seem to have any care in the world. And you can see that he kind of licks his face with his tongue. His tongue is very, very long, and it has impressive strength because he kind of manages to
Is
really
it
flick
girthy?
it all the way around his jaw. And you see him he begins to clean some of his incredibly pointy teeth with it. He then waits patiently for Jennifer's beverage consumption.
I assume.
Jennifer, you have not had any of your juicy drink.
I assume Susan's feeling a little bit ill right now, right? Like in the general.
I mean, has she eaten it yet?
No.
Has she hasn't. Okay.
Eating it.
Has
That's
she
what you want to
eaten
hear for
it?
your drinks.
I mean, when everyone else was taking a sip, then I probably would have also at
Yeah?
least pretended, like
Okay,
put it
well,
up to my mouth.
Did you pretend?
Yeah, yeah,
So you pretended that you were gonna.
yeah. Whilst everyone else was doing it.
Okay.
Surreptitious.
So I would, in most cases, considering he was distracted, give you this completely for free. However, the fact that he has multiple eye stalks, so I'm going to have to ask you to roll a deception check.
14.
You have to tell me what that number is. 14.
14.
Okay.
I mean 25.
Oh,
64. Gosh, Susan, you're so good at this.
So he, in fact, yes, he does. He waits in particular to see if you will consume a drink.
What?
Possibly because he'll in this moment he's now waiting specifically for you to drink. You see that maybe 6 of his eye stalks are watching you and your cup.
But I've already drank one. I don't want to. If I don't want to. Tim, you don't drink and you're on a diet. There you go. So sorry, I ate all my calories today. Couldn't possibly have a drink. I'm allergic to juicy drink.
Is that what Susan's gonna say? How's she gonna play this?
Yeah, she'd be like, you know what, I'm not feeling too good at the moment. I had a little bit before, but I'm not feeling too good. Thank you, though. It was very, very kind of you.
You don't want my juicy drink.
I've had some of your juice drink. It was lovely. I just don't want any more.
Yes,
Thank you, Smuggy.
quite interesting. Drink the poop water. It's okay. You can see that he kind of he hardens slightly, not physically. I mean, his expression is clearly it drops slightly. You can see that his charming smile, his toothy grin, is now slightly less charming, slightly less toothy.
Oh no, Susan, is it your stomach again? Here, have some water. You know that'll calm it down, and then you can have some more juicy drink later.
Thank you. Right, Katie, which one are we calling? Okay.
Oh,
Kathleen.
Jenny, Jennifer.
It's Kathleen. It's Kathleen.
It's only Kathleen if I'm in trouble.
Well, you're face to face with a beholder, so I think that's.
I'm in
fair
trouble.
enough.
We're in
I
trouble.
think-
I'm in trouble deep.
Okay. In that case, I would like a deception roll from Kathleen.
20.
Yeah, +7. That definitely wasn't already added in there.
Okay. Okay. 13.
No, it was.
But the extra effort, you know, extra effort that I have to go through. I'm on a laptop on my bed. All right, give me a break.
You
We're
said
next to a
deception.
beholder.
I was being deceitful. 80 roll a 7 or 20. Dang it.
Okay. Drink your poop water. Drink it. Chew it. Chew it good.
I feel like I should have had an advantage for helping her.
No. Okay. So he.
I have inspiration.
Okay.
So what do I either? It's either a +6 or I get to reroll.
No. So it's either a re-roll or you.
You cut out.
You-
Either a reroll or what?
Or you can ask me for a specific outcome, and we can come to an arrangement.
Ask for to make the beholder go away.
Come
I
to an
was really
arrangement.
great idea. Come to an arrangement, make him leave, but before he leaves, he tells us where all of his goodies are. For now, I'm gonna reroll.
Okay.
Uncheck my inspiration. So I don't have inspiration anymore, everyone in chat. FYI.
Okay.
21 is much
21.
better.
Make him drink the poop water.
Yes.
No, make him drink the wine.
Okay, so that is a successful deception. He is completely sold on the idea that Jennifer is unwell, and because she is unwell, she can't have his juicy drink. So you can see that he rises out of his stool area. Interesting choice of words considering the poop drink.
He rose out of
And
his
he
stool.
floats above the table. Again, he has absolutely no concept for personal space. In fact, for a moment, you think that Casimir might have bumped his head on the back of Robert as Robert floats across the table at such a height that for the first maybe couple of feet of the table, he is grinding along the bottom, like his beholdery underside is grinding along the table. And for a hot second, it looks like that Casimir is kind of trying very sternly to stay put as Robert's underside, his undercarriage, grinds against his forehead, and you can see that he's just stood there like. And it starts coming towards Kathleen. And what's Kathleen's reaction to Beholder Undercarriage?
21 Deception Stone Face.
Oh yeah? Okay. You're gonna just you're totally happy with Undercarriage in your face?
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like. Fantastic. Okay. So it comes towards Susan. Not Susan. Jennifer.
Very confusing.
This is the worst. Why have I turned to myself? And its eye is in your face. Robert is on top of the table now. He's now started floating very slightly higher, so he's not grinding against the table. But he is looking directly at you. And not only is he looking directly at you, you can see his gnarled mouth kind of contort into what looks a little bit like maybe concern. You can see that the majority of his eyes, if not all of them, are evaluating you from all sides. Some of them have gone behind you now. Some of them are looking at the back of the chair. And you can feel the backrest kind of dissolve away for a moment. And it looks like he's looking at your physical back. And some of the other beholders' eyes have the stalks have kind of gone now along, like, to your sides and stuff. And he's like, "You are unwell for my
You cut out at the end of that.
You are unwell for my juicy drink."
I'm afraid so, yeah. I had some bad pancakes.
Pancakes!
Right,
Yeah.
it's not from the juicy drink. It's just a bad stomach. It sometimes has reaction to various things.
Interesting. Oh, unwell, you said. Wrong. Are you broken?
No, I'll be fine.
But not fine to drink juicy drink.
No. I'll be pretty okay tomorrow.
Ah! And it floats up and it starts to slowly circle the table, eyeing you individually. Its stalks have returned to its usual scan of the environment. And it says, "Is this common? Do you often feel unwell from juicy drink?"
Not from
Juicy drink. No.
From too much
Interesting.
drink.
Too much juicy drink.
Yes.
What? So it stops you consuming the juicy drinks.
Yes.
Interesting. Are any of you unwell?
Any of the rest of us?
Are you all broken?
No, I'm quite
No.
fine.
Just this one's broken. And she
Stop.
turns back to Jennifer.
I mean, I'm not broken. Just, got a little bit of an upset stomach is all.
But you eat juicy drink normally, but you not eat juicy drink now.
I've never had juicy drink.
But you are unwell and it stops you from consuming your juicy drink.
Currently, yes. Oh, okay.
Oh! Juicy drink.
Everyone is
I understand. Very well. What else do you eat?
Here. Let's see. What do I have with me?
Something plain and easy to.
Yeah, I have like trail rations.
I
That's...
will. I mean, you aren't poor by any means,
I
so
have
I will
pancakes on me.
assume. Do you?
Pancakes on
I will assume at a base point, there's no point me really asking you to go into town and buy rations. So
Yeah.
we will assume at all times you have enough rations to just deal. Like, there's no the minimal like kind of effort that it takes for us to worry about how many rations you have is wasted time and effort for all of us. And
Yeah.
you're rich enough that it's not something that you're ever going to be concerned with. So
And it's not like we have to eat them all the time, so we can switch them out, because we have a mansion usually with food.
exactly. So assume that you have dried meats and stuff like that.
Are there any plates other than the saucers?
No.
I'll just take some of the like dried meat and dried fruits that I have and like unwrap little packages and set them out.
I also have some
Okay.
pancakes.
That would be good to add to the pile.
Hey Dave, how's it going? What if you end up in the plane of fire again? Fire rations. This has a real Untouchables vibe about it. Oh my god. Oh, what have I missed in the chat? Wancake's the best cakes. Commencing scan.
They're all speculating on how long we're going to live, basically, without wanting to say that out loud.
So you bring out your wancakes and you bring out your dried meats and you place them on the table. And he and his various eye stalks spend some time evaluating them again. You can see that he is now floating, facing downwards, looking at this table, looking at the little packets of meat that you've got unfolded on the table. And he looks very interested in each and every one of them. But then he looks at them and he looks at you and looks at them and he looks at you and he looks at them and he looks at you. And he's eyeing you up, waiting for you to do something with them.
I ate a piece of meat.
Okay. And as you do so, he gets very close to your face. He gets incredibly close to your face. And, oh, yes! Oh, you... Oh, okay. Oh, open your face. It's gone. It's not there. Interesting. Do it with another one.
And take a piece of fruit and eat it.
That's a different. That's a different thing. That's a different thing. Open your mouth. Yes, 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 yes. Now you. And he turns around, directly at Casimir. He's like, okay.
You can taste now, Casimir.
Yes, but it's not exactly like here.
Here, have some wan cake,
I was gonna
Casimir.
say, everything I have eaten for the last 300 years tastes like this.
Have some wan cake, Casimir.
Oh yes, the pancakes. You say that these are very good. Yes, and we had these at breakfast, correct?
Yes.
Ah, yes, these are very very good. He eats the entire thing. Does not give anyone else a chance. And Robert floats incredibly close to him, and you can see his face, his expression goes very dour. What was that? You ate all of that? Nobody else had any. All I had was that. And Casimir goes, it was very tasty. I'm very happy with this.
I'm sure you have one more wan cake, right, Jennifer?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Sure. Deception roll in real life.
On your character sheet, did you have more than one wan cake?
No, I had one wan cake.
Oh no.
I also have
Hey.
one potato, but I don't think I'm gonna offer the potato out.
Is he gonna know?
Yeah, hey.
Yeah, but
So
someone's gonna have to
yeah, but
eat the
someone's gonna have to-
potato.
Here, I think you have something more special than a wan cake.
No.
Good to be true.
No, it's my potato.
Someone's gonna have
It's
to
been in my
eat.
bag for like 3 months.
Is someone gonna want to eat just a normal potato? It's
It's
Just
gonna be
there.
like a rotten potato.
yeah,
Like,
growing
sprouting.
things. Yeah.
I could. No, I'm not gonna do that. Never mind. Okay, I could have a feast for us, but that's just no. We're not doing that right now. I need that.
So what's your plan? Is there any potato-based consumption going on?
No,
Are
I'm
you,
not
are you
getting.
keeping the potato out of the equation?
No.
So when
So neither of you can create food.
when
me.
Kathleen says, I'm sure we have another egg.
Well, Kathy should have said it. Damn it.
It's too late now. What does Jennifer say?
It was a question mark.
Yeah, I'd just say I don't have any more. There's also hair in between my glasses and my eye, and I can't get it. Just say I don't have anything else.
Nothing else to consume. No eaty foods.
No eaty foods.
Well, the table still has many things.
Yes, but I've watched those.
where's the way out? How do I get off this ride?
Wait.
You can see in the far corner where you came in,
Mm.
there is a seam for where the floor had turned into a slide. However, give me a perception check.
Reception.
Oh, I think my phone's
Just like in between all of our, like when I've been pouring stuff and the pancake stuff's been going on, I've just been looking around the room.
Okay, sure. You see that there is another seam in the door, another seam in the wall that looks like a door rather than a floor trap. But you notice that again, this is an observatory. This is a dome-shaped area, and it looks like a door. But as far as you're aware, this is a tower, so you're a bit confused as to where that might lead.
An extra-dimensional space, of course.
It's not that helpful. So I've got a plan, but it's not a very good plan.
Is it to banish yourself?
No, I did have a plan of banishing him, but I don't think that's going to go very well. My plan was that I've got a potion of speed, and I could pretend that it's like a cool drink, and pour a little bit into everyone's cup, and then we'll drink a little bit of speed, and then we can like run away. But there's nowhere to run to.
Just drink a bit of speed.
Speed, yeah.
Yeah, just a bit of speed.
You might say it's a hit. A hit of speed. We don't encourage drug use of any kind.
No.
Drugs are bad, kids. Stay in school.
It's easy, okay? I'm sure that is there like when you get like trailer rations, there's more than one type of dried fruit.
Oh
So
yeah, no, he's happily
Okay.
observing you.
Yeah, pick up a different type of fruit and eat it.
Mm-hmm. So, who are you? Kathleen, James, and Jennifer. Tom, you're boring.
Oh,
I think you are boring, you stupid eye. Very
shut up,
boring.
Don't
Tom.
get Casimir killed, please.
I think you're boring.
Stop
You
it.
can see that he's kind of looking at the table. He says it very quietly to him, and Robert clearly does not care. He's got no interest in it at all. He goes, "Right, I am the son of Argenvost. I am the king of the Silver Dragon. I am the protector of the island. I spent 300 years fighting the hordes of evil, and I am boring." And Robert goes, "Well, that's quite interesting, I suppose, but I know it all now, don't I? You didn't make it interesting little chunks of yum. That was all in one go. But you are odd looking. You've got bits on you." And he kind of looks at his scales. And says, "Why, yes, I do have bits on me." And for the first time, you can see that he flexes. And some parts of his armor seem to come loose that you hadn't seen before because they had been behind his cape. You hear the sliding action of steel on steel before you see that there is a loosening of his wings. His wings come kind of unfurled on his back, and he tenses, and you can see that they kind of stretch out. And he seems to have some incorporation into his arm. It's very, very lightweight, and it doesn't seem to have any real impact on his wings at all. But you can see there is some kind of very thin protection. It looks more like it's in the vicinity of the top of his wings rather than on the wings themselves. So many small eaty foods. So he kind of brings his wings out, and yes, I am weird look. I am interesting. I do have bits. And he's like, "I will keep you. Yes, yes, you are entertaining. Okay." And he kind of moves back to each of you. "So, Kathleen? So, Jennifer?
I'm sorry, I forgot what the question was.
James? Who are you? What are you?"
I'm human.
He can't do that. He's only got one eye.
Oh, I know. I was kind of just doing it for
It would
effect,
just
but
be
alright.
him looking left and right.
I mean, okay, so when he said, "You are interesting, I'm going to keep you,"
Mm-hmm.
do I see, like, any evidence of people being kept in the room?
Nope. There is absolutely no evidence.
Or they're behind the door. Or he's
Yeah,
never keep
it's-
anyone before.
The door is the extra dimensional space where all of the people are kept. I'll say I'm a human. I have a few tricks up my sleeve, but mostly people enjoy the music that I make.
Music? What's that?
Yes.
Like the piano?
Yes,
Do you play the piano?
I do actually.
Interesting! The piano is in the other room. Many players have tried to play the piano, but they have played very badly.
That's unfortunate.
Yes, it was!
I tried playing that piano and it didn't quite work like a piano
what?
normally would work.
You tried
Can
to
you
play the
make
what?
the piano?
The piano?
Yes. Can you make
I
one
see.
that works where the keys move?
What do you mean the one that works?
It should make noises.
Oh! That makes a lot of sense. Do you have your own piano?
Those are a bit big to carry around, but I do have a few other things. This is similar in a way to a piano, which is a stringed instrument that's struck percussively, and I pull out like in my pack, I pull out like a dulcimer. I like a mountain style dulcimer that I carry around with me.
I'm glad that all of us know exactly what a dulcimer is. Continue.
So there are multiple styles of dulcimer, and a lot of them would be too big to carry around, but the mountain dulcimers are smaller.
I see. Whoa, get crazy, lads, we're moving. Oh wait,
It's just Robert.
the painting.
So they have mountain in their name
Oh,
because they're small.
It's gonna be fun. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna be...
Now you know how Tom felt with the undercarriage on the back of his head.
So please continue. Tell me more about. Get out of here.
Why would I do that when I could just start playing the dulcimer?
Yes. Okay. So dulcimer. Let's have a look at what a dulcimer is on the internet, so we all know what a dulcimer.
It's a 30 performance check.
Everyone picture what they think a dulcimer looks like.
I think it looks like a hurdy-gurdy.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. It's like a.
It's like a board.
Yeah. it's not
Yeah,
like a
well, I don't
hurdy-gurdy.
have that style though, because that would be hard to carry around and fit in a pack. So I'll find a picture for you all.
But it's,
What's
so
a mountain? I've clicked the one that says
it's
mountain.
a skateboard with a guitar stuck to it. I would be Apache Chocolate. Thank you for following. What a great name. I really wanted it to be a hurdy-gurdy, but I guess that'll.
This is
I feel
what
like I've
it
looked
looks
this
like
up
a mountain.
before because you said dulcimer.
And you're like, what the heck is a dulcimer?
Okay, but all is well because now we are on the same page. And there's no painting behind me, so we don't need to care whether or not it's askew.
Skew with.
Askew with.
Everything I open up is just to buy, so I can't give you a good link because it's just going to take you to like Amazon or some nonsense. Oh, here we go.
It's a farty little guitar.
A farty guitar. Who said that? Mr. Smuggy is banned.
So you're gonna play the dulcimer for him.
Yes.
What are you gonna? I mean, is there anything you have in mind for your song? What kind of style are you thinking?
I'll play in the Hall of Mountain King.
Okay, so you're gonna not that's not the same as the one that you played for the coronation.
No, in the Hall of the Mountain King is everybody knows it. It's the
How does that sound on the dulcimer?
I'm sure there's a recording. Here, let me Google it. Let me Google that for you.
Why hasn't Dox purged the beholder with holy fire yet?
Because it's a mountain dulcimer. Song of the Fates. Hall of the Mountain King played on musical Tesla coils. That's way cooler. Can I do that
Whoa,
instead?
what?
That's the first thing that came up when I Googled.
I wanted to be like that. What's the?
Goldfinch.
You're a king
you.
and your crown is in the bag of holding.
I
Just as a
remember.
reminder. You know you can take it. What happens if Casimir dies again?
I'm gonna be really fucking
We'll
sad.
all quit.
Yeah.
I think you could take Casimir dying, but if the kids died, then you'd be out.
No, both.
You don't have to
So-
pick and choose one thing.
Not one person on YouTube has played in the Hall of the Mountain King on a dulcimer, which means that I'm unique.
How could they?
Can I go and be right back real
Okay.
quick?
Yes, for sure. Can you actually play the dulcimer?
I could a little bit when I was younger. Yeah. One of my mom's family members made my little brother and I a couple of little mountain dulcimers.
Made them.
Yeah.
Is this with the skateboard and some strings, or is this like a?
No, like I'm still looking for a picture of one that doesn't take you to Amazon that looks like the one that I had.
That's cool.
Um,
A one-stringed dulcimer.
no, a one-stringed dulcimer. That's really cute.
Bing, boom, 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 boom.
Open image in new tab. There it goes. Finally. Here we go. Boop. Oh. Neve, what did you find?
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
My face
could just
is so
do-
bright. Look at this.
We'll do Rohan. Casimir Sebright.
Look at my chins.
There. Look at your what?
My chins. Anyway. Okay, well we're currently missing Jennifer,
Yes, you
aka
can go look.
Susan, aka Jenny.
Oh wait, here. Let me get actual dulcimer music, or like mountain dulcimer music, because the other one's different.
Oh, we got our pal welcome party RPG.
Oh hey, hi.
Hi
We're all,
guys.
we're all talking about the type of mountain dulcimer music that I'm currently playing for a beholder. Welcome.
It's lovely to see you all again.
Just by Mage Raid.
How you doing? I don't think we've had a chance to raid you guys yet because I think you seem to end halfway through our stream.
Yeah. Archer of the Eyes, like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Oh,
so
you would be perfect for right now. We am being raiding it.
raiding it.
correct.
Raiding.
Welcome back, Jennifer, aka Susan, aka Jenny.
Thanks.
Welcome, everybody who just raided.
Oh, hello, Raid. Thank you. Welcome by RPG.
And I do like shooting beholders.
Hey, Rain.
What's currently happening is these guys have been invited to a tea party with a beholder who seems to have a fascination with
Things.
people.
With us, but they keep calling us by weird names.
Weird names like James and Kathleen and Jennifer.
James is a
Yeah.
terrible name.
Stupid name.
Hyacinth just doesn't know what Kathleen is, you know? She's confused.
Thank you
She's
for having a
going with
summary link. That summary link needs an update badly, my friend. That is an incredibly out of date summary link.
Well, it needs an
I could-
update summary.
I'll try and do an up to date thing for that if you want, Jenny.
If you want to.
I mean, it's a neat thing to have, and
Yeah.
it probably would make sense for me to be the one that has to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I do it, it's going to be not worth it all.
Oh my gosh,
Thanks,
thank you,
Smuggy,
Mr.
for the
Smuggy.
bits. Go to bed,
Aw,
have some bits.
Mr.
Ta-ta,
Smuggy.
ta-ta. Good night.
Ta-ta.
Thanks for all the bits, Smuggy. I appreciate it.
How
Super.
polite.
Kubiti.
I'm gonna go
Sure,
grab
alright.
another drink
Is it
while
Cubit?
you guys finish welcoming our raiders.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it Kubiti or Kubiti?
Bitty. Oh,
Kubiti?
another raid?
What?
Thanks, World Anvil.
Holy shit!
Raid.
That's two at the same time.
God
Kubiti.
damn. Thank
Kubiti.
you for all the
Oh
raids.
man, I got it. Light up the forge. That is a fucking cool raid message. Oh my
Basic
God.
Dragon, Secondhand Samurai, great names. Why does everyone have great names?
Oh damn!
Hi, thank you for the
Hey
raid.
everybody! What a fantastic, what an odd coincidence that we've got two raids at the same time. I was literally within 2-3 minutes of each other. We also got a raid
Thank you.
from Welcome Party RPG.
Perfect time that we're all going on breaks.
Double the raid, double the fun. You've joined us on episode 69,
Hey.
which is a very serious business
Mhm.
episode
Yes.
that
joke.
The most serious
involves
business
no
episode.
jokes at all.
Mm-mm.
Hello, Double Raiders. Hello, everybody. I really love that. Light up the forge thing. That's neat. So, as a very, very, very brief summary, Line up the force.
Hey, well done, Bill.
That's so cool. None whatsoever. Absolutely zero. As a very, very, very brief summary. Currently, the team is walking around the island. An island off of the coast of Faerun, off the Sword Coast. Completely fabricated and made up by me. Called the Daerd Isle. It's very... It's very reminiscent of Curse of Strahd. In that there is a big bad guy who is fogging off the island and stopping it from being accessed. Stopping people from leaving it. Big bad guy, in this case, is or was locked away, and these guys are looking for keys in order to get in there and kill him.
Stab is heavy.
Stab him good and proper, or to destroy obelisks, which appear to be his source of power. In this episode, we are face to face with a beholder named Robert. A beholder named Robert who seems to have an absolute, very keen fascination with people and how they consume juicy drinks and eaty foods. Robert the Beholder, also known as Bobby Beholder.
Thank you for the follow.
So shall we continue after saying thank you very much everyone for joining
What's a Preptober?
What is a Preptober?
Is it a whole month of prepping for something?
Prepping. Prep.
Oh,
Prep.
take the
Preppy
follow.
prep?
Prep for prep's sake. Practice prep. So that when you need to prep, you can prep better.
But practice only has one spelling.
Oh, NaNoWriMo. Right, I see. Cool.
Oh, that's all. That's so cool. Are you guys all gonna be writing like fantasy stuff, like D&D related, or is this because NaNoWriMo is the writing thing, right?
Yeah, it's like Inktober and then NaNoWriMo for writers.
That's awesome.
Kara, you always want Chick-fil-A on Sunday because that would be the best day to eat it.
Oh, it's
and
really
world
Chick
building,
filler.
that's really cool.
It's definitely filler.
Chick-fil-A.
Alright, thanks,
There's
Archer, for
there
stopping
are
by.
hyphens
But-
there.
There's a
But it
hyphen
fills
after
you.
the fill.
But it fills you with chick.
50,000 words. Oh my god!
Damn.
Imagine if you were doing that for a PhD.
Yeah, you
Can
can
you
post a
imagine
link.
if you're doing that in 1 month?
Oh my god,
What's that? Oh.
it's amazing. That's really cool. Have you got ideas already? Wrote my first novel manuscript 4 years ago. That's awesome. I remember people writing for NaNoWriMo when we were young, Jenny.
Oh, yes,
When
the
we
good
were
old days, back when we
good
were
old
in our
days.
early teens.
Good old days.
And we did a lot of projects. Oh, okay. That's a shame, but I can understand. It's a lot of work. But
It's a lot of words.
Robert's also a lot of work.
what, Bob?
Bob.
Bob
This is
work.
weird for me because my dad's name is Robert.
Oh, really?
So when
Okay.
Robert's like,
dad have a holder?
Kathleen, I'm like, ugh.
Love it. Okay. Half of a short stories anthology for my campaign. I like that. So do you guys do a lot of like homebrew D&D stuff? Or homebrew tabletop RPG stuff? Anyway, we'll get back to chat in just a moment. Let's
Yes.
continue with where we are for now. So you are each describing whom or what you are to Robert.
So boring. Isn't
I'm
it?
currently playing the Dulcimer.
Okay, yes, and you rolled a
30. A 30 performance check.
She actually got a 30. Okay.
Mhm.
I actually got a 30. I'm not rolling a
Got
real
plus
life
15.
perception check.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's plus
God.
15.
Oh my god, okay. So, you play... What did you say? What were you playing?
Hall the Mountain King.
Hall of the Mountain King on your dulcimer for Robert. Blah, 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 blah. That's the actions that we make whilst playing a dulcimer, apparently. I don't know anything about... Is that
This is
actually...
music.
I thought
Well,
I assumed it'd be like a guitar, but is it actually
No.
like a pluckety pluck pluck?
Yeah, you set it in your lap, and there's you can like press individual notes while strumming, so it would
That is
literally be like
fucking
this.
bonkers, man. Okay. So it's like a weird top-down guitar. Anyway,
A lap guitar.
a lap
Lap
guitar.
guitar.
I love it. So you play it absolutely astoundingly, as is your forte. It is not at all surprising to each or anybody in this party or in this company that Hyacinth is incredibly talented when it comes to the instruments that she picks up. She plays this piece absolutely wonderfully, and each of you are once again, as always, stunned into silence. It is a wonderful piece of music played by an incredible musician, and it's like every time you see her play or hear her play, it's like you're hearing her the first time. Which Robert is literally hearing this instrument and this piece of music for the very first time.
Does he have one
And-
big tear forming?
You can see that his eye looks especially wet, but it
Oh,
was already pretty goopy.
Well, then it was. They all know
And
what it is.
he floats over to you, and I would like you to make a dexterity saving throw.
He's gonna try and kiss you.
what's my bonus from Susan to Susan?
It's
Two
2,
plus
I
2?
think. Yeah.
17.
Okay. So Robert floats over to you and attempts to eat your dulcimer. He makes a very genuine attempt at consuming the entire thing in one go, but with your quick save, your quick dexterous mobility, you manage to whip it out the way as you see him go for it. Sadly, he
Can
does
I-
manage to nick it, and there is now a indentation from one of his teeth that has now dented the side of your dulcimer. It's a huge scratch mark, but you don't think it will in any way interact with the way that you play it or the sound that it makes.
Okay.
That was lovely! I bet it tastes amazing!
You don't eat music. You just listen to it. You consume it with your ears.
And he kind of starts floating around, circle. And you can see that some of his eye stalks do start to eventually examine the side of his head, and you can see that there are some holes there that would probably function as ears, but he can't see them with his main eye at least. And his spin slowly starts slowing down, and he observes you a little bit closer. Yes, it wasn't in my face hole. And you can see that his tongue starts to like lick his face again, looking for music in the cracks and the crevices. It was good! You're quite good! You're interesting, I like that! I might keep you! Anyway!
Ah.
You! What are you? Looks specifically at Dane, aka James.
But I am Daerd Frostbeard, king amongst dwarves of some dwarves. I'm a king. Hi.
A king!
Mm-hmm.
Ooh! One of a kind!
Exactly. The
Oh,
only
that's
one
very
called
special.
Dane.
Oh, yes.
Put your crown on, Dane. it already on?
Yes.
No, it's not. It's in my bag. I don't want it to eat it.
You can see that his tongue has now started extending, and it looks like it's coming towards.
This is.
Are you gonna make any attempt to avoid being licked in the face by this?
I'm just gonna like back away a little bit until it. See if it stops. And
Okay,
then
you've in no way made a decent enough attempt to stop yourself being licked in the face by a beholder. It kind of, at first you can see the tendril starts to just slide down the side of your face, and then it wraps itself underneath your chin, into your beard,
Oh, that's
and
gonna
your
take weeks to
huge
clean out.
dwarven beard, and it starts to wrap around the beard a little bit, and you can feel that it tugs.
Oh, it's attached.
It tugs
Robert.
slightly at your beard. But then the main body of the tongue pushes itself against your face, and it is thick with saliva. And the saliva is not only rancid, but it's quite acidic. And you can see little bits in it, but again, you can see the bits of china from where he ate the teacup earlier. You can see it in his mouth. His mouth is still quite far back, but the tongue is extended outwards. You can see that the bits of china have kind of cut into his tongue somewhat. And it just kind of pulls his tongue up against your face. Yes, you're quite delicious. Yes. You. And he looks directly at Susan, all of his eyes, all of his stalks, evaluating you.
Oh. Couldn't spell nerve. I was trying to spell nervous in a panic and I didn't. It just showed how like suddenly nervous I was that you were talking to me, and I was like,
What are you?
Well, first, second-hand samurai was talking about them being a big world-building site.
Oh.
And if you need a place for your roleplay sessions to be kept or your world documenting, then go make a free account there and check them out.
Oh, well, that was like a website.
Yes.
Jeeves came back to talking a lot about tongue.
Yep.
Dane got beholder lick.
I got tongued again.
Oh, World Anvil is super useful. We even have a
You cut out.
we have a user here of World Anvil. Time saying that it's really useful.
Ooh.
That's a
User Rex.
Resounding recommendation there. Okay. Don't let me break up the roleplay. Don't worry. We,
I was mainly giving myself time because I don't know what I'm
saw
gonna.
through that. I saw through that easily.
No, it'd been quite a while, so I did want to acknowledge it.
But at the same time, I made my tech save. Yeah, no, he attempted to nom you, to nom your instrument. Susan, tell the class what you're good at.
It's like my fucking nightmare.
Oh, bless you. It's not about what you're saying. So what are you?
I'm an elf.
Oh, yes, I can see the pointy bits. You're very shiny.
Yes.
Just have your disguise on.
Are you special? This one has tricks. Do you have tricks?
Do I have tricks? Look at Dane. Do I have tricks?
Yeah, you can talk to gods. That's pretty special.
Talk to gods.
Got magic.
Stage whisper. You can talk to gods. That's pretty cool.
Talk to gods, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
She's got some cool magic tricks.
Magic? Can you show me? I like magic. I'm magic.
You can like make shit glow. You can make lights probably.
No,
You can make your weapon. You can make your weapons glow.
Can I?
Okay, well just hold your weapon up. But
I don't want to show him the weapon. He might eat it.
hold your hand out.
Do you remember ages ago I had this thing where Susan used to do drawings, and that's what I would show at the beginning of the stream on the sign stream.
Yeah.
So Susan would be drawing sort of thing. She has a notebook and she draws because she doesn't have to sleep as long, so she draws in between. So maybe she could show him the drawings that she does.
Jenny, do you have an inspiration point?
Yes, but I will happily take another for backlog.
If you were allowed more than one inspiration point at a time, I would give you another one, because that was an excellent answer. Absolutely fantastic role playing. Brilliant. And you were so nervous. You had such a fucking good idea hidden away.
It was because Dave reminded me, and I was like, okay, I can go with that. Yeah, sure.
Ah, okay.
Give it Dave, and then Dave could give it me in a future.
Was that Dave's idea? Was that?
Yeah, Dave
Dave's
said it. Where did he put
Susan
it?
drawings. Okay, brilliant idea. In which case, Dave, you get the inspiration point.
Thank you, Dave.
That was very cool. That was very, very cool. I saw someone get licked by a beholder in a campaign once.
They did not seem
here.
thrilled.
Yeah, no, gross.
Okay, so you show him your drawings, and he.
Ones that I'm not they're still good, but they're not my favourite, need to keep because I'm very concerned he's going to eat them. So...
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
completely understanding. Okay, and you put them on the table, And you can see his massive beholder body tilts forward, and his main eye is looking very much at this image very, very closely. And he goes, "That's you!
Yeah.
That's people!"
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe a drawing of each of you. It's back when it was you also had the company of Zenyai and Penai in your different disguise outfits. And it's got a picture of. There's so many. Just fill in the pages. Don't mind me. What? Oh wait, let me scroll up. Good thing he doesn't have an anti-magic cone. Was he looking at you? Don't fear. Don't fear.
Good job, Goldfinch.
Weird.
Do not fear. Okay, so he's very, very intensely observing these drawings. That's you and others of you! Other yous and not you, but also you and stuff. Those are people, but also not people and things that people are holding.
Mm-hmm.
How do you put
You
them
might
in
say
this?
you're beholding them.
Ah! Ah! That's good! I'm definitely keeping you. You're so good! These are things, but are also people!
Yeah.
Hello! He starts shouting specifically at this piece of paper. Hello!
No, this is her magic. She can turn ink into pictures. Kind of like how you did on the wall. The painting. On the first
Painting?
floor.
What's paintings?
You take pigment and make art.
Art.
It's very collectible.
It's very collectible.
You can see that he gets incredibly excited. Art! Art! What's art? Art's collectible!
That's art, and I point at the drawings.
Ooh, ooh. Okay, so he one of his stalks looks at the pieces of paper, and you can see that they start to levitate. And they start levitating. And he just gets very excited and calls you. He hovers over to the doorway that you saw the seam, and it starts to quickly move aside, like a noise as it kind of moves to the side.
I'm
Like
definitely trying to look in
ceases
there.
to exist. And he floats through it, leaving it open behind him.
Look in.
Definitely look in.
You look in. Okay, in this next room, first off, I would like to point out that it is a somewhat of a corridor. You can see that there is a room after this that has another room, has another doorway that is also open, and there are maybe 4 or 5 rooms. Each of them are in one complete linear direction, completely opposite the room that you are stood in, directly after facing away from the door. The room that is directly in front of you is filled with it's loads and loads of kind of shelving units and display cases. Again, these are very functional in that these are mostly just shelves. And the first one appears to be filled to the brim with stuffed animals.
Beanie Babies.
Like, are we talking like taxidermy?
No, these are toys
Okay.
that have been created. You can see that each of them, some of them have different styles. Some of them are like kind of natural animals. Some of them are there's one of his one of them has pride position on the western wall. That is a huge dragon, and on the opposite wall is a plush of a beholder, and it takes up way more space. And you can see that it has its own little stalks that kind of drape to the side.
Maybe it's a voodoo doll. Stab it.
But apart from that, you can see that there are various images. There's a rabbit. You can see that there are dogs and there are cats. You can see that on opposite sides of the room, you can see that they kind of have their own like themes and the animals that are kind of within their own groups. It looks like he's made some attempt at organizing.
How quickly could I whittle a beholder?
I mean, you tell me. How good are you?
5
I think
seconds.
it's supposed to take about an hour. I think. Because there
Yeah,
are
okay, never mind.
for example, one of the other players in the B team has a feat as part of his background, I think, or if it's part of something related to that, which allows him to kind of craft little idols and stuff that takes about an hour.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
But you can see that there are other rooms down this corridor, and that he is at the. You can vaguely see his of a figure at the very, very far end.
He's made a new room for art.
Possibly.
Well, I don't want to upset him, so I'm not gonna go in there just yet. We are not stealing a plushie, Dave. We are absolutely not.
If it was slightly more than just a plushie, then maybe. But... Well, we have to. So he's not in here, so we can actually talk.
Yeah, he's not in here.
Okay. What the hell are we actually gonna do? I mean, I could. What about if we brought the mansion in and distracted him with it? Because there's all kinds of things that he could explore in there. Like,
I don't think he's an explorer. I think he's a collector.
Yeah, but he could just ask for things.
But then they would turn to smoke as soon as he walked out of the mansion.
We just try and distract him for a long time in there, and then we walk away. Or I could banish him for a minute.
I don't think the mansion is the best idea. I think that he'll immediately run out and try to go put things on shelves. And I don't have just anything in there. I have food.
Damn it.
I have food and rooms.
Damn it,
I could foreseeably like furnish a room, but he would try to pick up the piano and take it out and it would turn to dust, and then I think he would get angry. I just don't.
Well, are we just gonna try and fight it then?
Or we just try to talk him into making a trade for goodies he has that he doesn't want for art and different things like that. He wants to keep us. We're already in a position where he said he's wanting to keep us. So we try to talk into a trade where we, instead of keeping us here, we bring him back fun things that we find and trade him for better things that he has. He just doesn't know that they're better. But we need to get a look at what he's got in here first. You came here because you wanted to see if there were any cool collectibles. Anything that would be useful to us.
And also if there's an obelisk here somewhere.
Oh, can I focus on my evil tinglies whilst he's
Yes, you
gone?
can. One of the rooms down here most certainly gives you super strong evil tinglies. It is down this corridor. You think it's probably one of the far end rooms.
Okay, I convey that to everyone else then.
So we definitely need to find that.
Yeah.
But I like to try and do the trade thing about we'll fetch him more art.
Yeah, but how are we going to destroy that obelisk by being like, we'll
We
just
tell him
destroy this, but we'll bring you back. I'll draw you a really cool thing.
We tell him that there's a very bad person who wants to destroy everything on the island, which is true, including his collection, and that this is something that's intrinsically attached to that person. And if we destroy this one thing, it helps us make sure that person doesn't destroy his collection.
You can't find the collection.
Yeah, he could find it. This is something he's intrinsically tied to.
Sure. You guys are smarter than me.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I think that's the best shot. And if that fails, I'll set him on fire.
Sounds like a plan.
Plan B, set it on fire.
Yeah, plus it takes 10 minutes for me to cast a mansion. I'm pretty sure he's going to come back before that, so...
Oh, can I, if he's not in here, can I use all the secrets?
Yes, you can.
Can you stand somewhere away from the trapdoor we already know exists? Because it's just going to tell us the closest one thing, right?
It points towards the trapdoor on the floor.
Damn it!
Shit.
Do it again.
I move
Go
away from the trapdoor. Like to the
30
other side of the room.
31 feet away from the trapdoor.
It points to the trapdoor again.
Okay, there's nothing else.
Oh, it's 30 feet. Damn it. Okay. How long is he gone? Is he still gone?
He is still gone.
What do we hear him doing?
You can see him You can see him floating in a room at the far end. He appears to be going from one end to the other. You can see that he's clearly busy, and it's a solid possibility he's completely forgotten about you.
Okay, so we either leave now or we try to trade for the obelisk.
I could banish us. I could banish
I
all
can
of
just
us.
dimension door us out. Okay, that doesn't hurt anyone. Well, I can take one
benefit.
person at a time with me, so it would take a little bit of time, but not very much. 24 seconds. Maybe slightly more. Slightly more than that, because I'd have to come back too. Yeah.
Right.
Or we could just leave out the trapdoor.
Yeah, but we need to get this thing.
Alright, so we try to trade him for the obelisk.
How close do you think the obelisk is, Susan?
How close do I think the obelisk is? Tom.
Maybe 80 feet down this corridor. It's in one of the rooms down here.
Oh, so it's like near him.
You think it's maybe slightly closer than where he is, but it's down there.
So you can go invisible, right? Okay, Hyacinth.
Yes.
So, and you can dimension door straight back here.
Yes.
So you could go and see where it is
Yes.
without attracting his attention potentially.
I can just literally run down there invisibly, find out where it is, and come back
Yeah.
invisibly, so I don't have to dimension door.
Well, no,
But
but
I-
if he comes back, you can just dimension door back to here, and it.
Yeah, that's true.
If he hears anything, though, that'll probably alert him.
He's got tiny ear holes. He doesn't have big. big
Also, I'm pretty quiet if I want to be.
clank, clank, clank.
This will be the time that I critically fail the stealth check. Alright, so I guess I'll do that then.
Don't look at it, though. Don't look at the obelisk directly.
Please don't look at it, we don't have to deal with
Don't
you.
look at it. So how do I tell if it's there if I don't look at it directly? Kind of like just look at the bottom of it, or
Just prepare yourself mentally before you look at it. Be like, something's gonna try and touch my brain, and I ain't having none of it.
Time has given his inspiration point to Kate,
oh, thank you.
just in case she crit fails. Damn it!
Or crit fails that, or the inevitable wisdom save that bards are so good at. Okay, all right.
Well, before you leave, I'm just gonna give you a little one of these.
Look. Oh, that feels nice. I like it.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I love that monstrosities are like the one thing that's not on there. That'll be good though. This will be good.
It'll stop you getting screwed over by the pillar.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. Great. No fear then. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to
Stop.
I'm gonna cast greater invisibility on myself.
Wait,
Okay.
we need a safe word. For you to come back.
It should
No
be,
jokes!
it should be
Fuck
it's
it.
a holder.
Safe word is pineapple.
Sure.
I'm drinking a pineapple drink. It made me think of pineapple.
Okay.
Also, totally not a sex thing.
No, literally because of the drink that I'm drinking.
100% because of the drink she's drinking. Guys and girls in the chat, we
How
are
is that
being
even a? I don't even.
100%. Oh, it's like a reference.
Oh.
There's a video of
No, it.
uh,
No, it's fine. We said no. We said
pineapple
this.
juice. Anyway,
I'm gonna cast greater invisibility
yes.
and kind of quickly sneak down there. 31 stealth.
If we weren't
That's
playing
fine.
with level 14 characters, there might be some moments where I disbelieved you.
Yeah.
Also, you've only got
Listen,
plus
there are a
12
few
on that.
things that I'm really good at. Yeah, I get a plus.
Okay.
The few things that I'm really good at are acrobatics, which I've never used. You should be glad for that. Performance, persuasion, and stealth. Those are the four things that I'm very, very
Right.
good at.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, you are now invisible. Greater invisibility lasts for how long?
1 minute.
One
But I
minute.
can perform actions even and continue to be invisible.
Correct.
So even if
One-
I like see something like that I want to attack or that makes me attack or whatever, I stay invisible for
Yeah.
the solid minute.
So, I mean, 60 seconds is not a long time. What is
Mhm.
your plan of action?
I'm going to like make my way down until she said she felt like it was about like 50 to 80 feet away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is. I mean, that's not the shortest distance for 60
Right.
seconds, but also you're trying to be stealthy.
Yeah.
You cannot stealthily sprint. I mean, there are limitations to which stealth has. It's like you
Yeah.
can't barge through a doorway when someone's standing in the doorway.
Yeah. So if I
so-
use my action to dash, then I can at least move my normal speed while sneaking because I'm concentrating solely on sneaking and moving quickly. So I can at least make it 30 feet, see if I see anything. And if I don't, make it another, and this is in 6 seconds, so I have 10 rounds.
Yeah.
So if I can move a total of 300 feet by dashing, then I can definitely at least make it there, find it.
Oh no, I'm
and-
saying
and
that
come
you can,
back.
you can make the distance back. Just saying
Yeah.
that, if there was any, that just doesn't give you much leeway in between for anything that.
No,
to do.
my initial plan is literally to like go find the thing and come back because they just wanted to make sure that it's there and where exactly it is. I can't
Right.
dimension door with the obelisk back, so I'm just
Sure.
finding it and coming back and taking
Okay.
stock of what I see along the way, just like periphery glances.
So there are several rooms along this corridor of rooms that you run past. The first is, or right after the stuffed animals room, is filled with cutlery of all kinds of different types. There are lots of different types of cutlery. Feel free to add cutlery to the list of things that are in this cutlery. There are sporks, forks, knives, spoons. There are scooping
Ladles,
utensils.
spatulas,
Yep.
whisks,
There are all
potato
sorts
mashers.
of things.
Serving forks.
Flatware is not cutlery.
Three
There's,
prong forks. 4-prong forks.
oh my goodness.
2-prong
There are
forks.
fish knives.
Scooby Doo it. I am
Carving
Scooby Dooing
set.
it. Jinkies.
So it is
Ladles.
filled with them. And you notice that there is
bottles,
a
and cutlery.
specific section that is, there are some spoons that have a specific quality about them that you can't quite get in the small amount of spending running through this room. The next room,
Magic spoons.
the next room, pardon me, is filled with ties.
Like ties.
Like ties. Yep, they're absolutely like ties. You run through this room and you see that there are all kinds of different accessories that are to do with the neck. There are scarves, there are
Nooses.
necklaces, but the most heavily featured are ties. Zub zub. As you go into the final room, the next room, it is filled to the brim with saucers.
Saucers or
all-
sauces?
Saucers. So this room is filled with the small plates that you would have underneath a teacup, of various and different types. Some of them are beautiful. Some of them are very basic. Some of them have stains on them. Some of them still have what looks like a tea bag on, but it's hard to tell because it's desiccated. And you are not spending that much time here. You are running through. The next room is filled from top to bottom with keys. It is filled with keys. In fact, to the degree where there are keys on the ceiling hanging on a chain. There are keys lining the walls. There are keys that are in small cases across the floor on shelves. Each of them has a different kind of aesthetic to them. A lot of them look very similar, but one or two of them stand out as something in your periphery, as something that definitely does not fit in with the rest of the dynamic.
I paused for just a second. I know what the key that Dane we retrieved when we were in the Amber Temple looked like.
Yeah,
Is key symbolic or does it literally look like a key?
it's a key.
Okay. I don't pause. I keep going for now, and I'll depend on how much time I have on my way back. I might take a look around.
Okay. So in the final room, you see Robert floating away. He is plastering. You can see there is a very bizarre dynamic going on here. It looks like he has tried to recreate the images that you see. You see that floating in the middle of the room, and that he constantly has an eye stalk pointing at, are the drawings that Susan has provided. Against the wall, and in a 3D manner, you can see statues that look like they imitate the shapes from the painting, from the drawings. For example, you see a very small contorted look of Peneye. You see a very and you can kind of see him because he's on the floor, like with his legs in the air, like doing a pose. Next to him, you can see
Just as I remember him.
Next to him, you can see Zenyai, and you can see both Dane and Susan. However, there is a very strange look to them. They look like they are in pain, and for a brief moment, you think that you see movement in one of the eyes.
In one of the statues?
Yes.
Oh god. What have we done? Do I see the obelisk?
You do not see the obelisk.
Well, Hyacinth has gone. We've gone to Susan, but you should do some more drawings quickly. Draw a beholder.
Okay, I'll be drawing a beholder.
We need
Okay.
more art to
Yeah.
distract him.
You draw a metal beholder.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh
Okay.
god. He doesn't know.
What about the beholder? Are there any features in particular that you want to characterize? Anything fancy about the beholder? Is it a generic beholder? Is it him?
No, it's him.
Okay.
But kind of, the one that I drew for I think not with heart as eyes, but in that kind of cutesy style, not hyper realistic beholder,
Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, my leg. My leg. We're going on an adventure.
Oh, feel dizzy.
Sorry.
Going on an adventure.
If I had a desk to sit at, I would.
If I only had a desk.
And thus died Tom. I think they're pretty big. This guy is huge. Psych, horror D&D. Hello, everybody. There is no escaping the thriller DM.
We just play Thriller for 3 hours.
Thriller.
Hard cut.
3 hours long. So yes, you start drawing a little sketch of Robert the Beholder, in a cutesy style. Hyacinth, as you are, could you do an Arcana check for me?
Yeah.
Just a Arcana check.
18.
An 18! A lovely roll. Okay, so you know a little bit about Beholder. You are somewhat familiar with the tales of Beholders. And
He didn't have a tail.
Yeah, damn it.
Hey Andrew, how's it going? So you know a little bit that each of their eye stalks can be related to different kind of magical features that we would think possibly reflect spells. And you know that their biggest eye is often kind of thought to have an anti-magic sort of characteristic to it, a quality that kind of cancels out or negates magic. Whilst you saw him previously, was his large eye was, very emotive because he was spending a lot of time talking to you. It had a kind of bizarre hue to it. You notice that the kind of the retina was a mixture of purples and blues and greens, and it didn't seem to match any one eye color. Right now, it is entirely purple, his retina, and he is focusing very hard on these statues.
Iris?
Yes, iris, not retina.
I was like, I don't think I could see his retina.
I was like, no, you definitely can't see his retina. I was like, it's not pupil. What's the other word that I know? Retina. Okay.
Pupil, iris, sclera.
It's worse because I did anatomy of the eye and the neurology, neurophysiology of the eye and the ocular system whilst I was at university, and I just can't.
That's okay. I was just actually clarifying, not trying to correct you.
No,
I'm
you were
confused.
right.
Okay.
That makes it easier for me. So you notice that his
Iris
has changed from a kind of a liquid color that shifts to a very standardized uniform purple, and you can see that it's intensely focusing on the statues. As his eye focuses on it, you can see that there are swaths of this material from that the statues are made out of that are being cut away. It's like he's using it as a way to kind of negate the magic that is holding them in the shape that it is, and he's using it to sculpt with. As he takes a second to pause, and he swings his body around in your direction to look towards the parchment that he has floating up above him, just to have a better look with his bigger eye. You are aware that this magic of the anti-magic cone will render you visible.
Roll initiative.
I'm not going to roll initiative, but I will make you quickly make a decision about what you want to do.
Well, is he within... I know that it does that. Do I know how far it does that?
You do not know how far it does that.
How far away from me is he?
You are very, very close to him now, because you're looking in the room that he is in.
Well, then I, pull back around the corner so he couldn't see me.
Okay, in which case, make a dexterity saving throw.
Can I make an acrobatics check instead?
Sure.
Yes. 24.
24, okay.
Backflip back into the hallway.
Okay. You managed to just about get out of the way of his gaze, at least you think you do. You see that he is turning around in your direction, but you managed to get away before you get a note whether you see him turn in your direction or not. But in the room you did not see an obelisk, and you have not seen an obelisk throughout the rest of this room either.
With what I was watching, did I notice whether or not the statues seemed to start off as blocks or seem to be already vaguely human-shaped and being shaped into other human shapes? Or humanoid?
You did not see.
I'm just gonna head back, but I'm gonna stop in the key room and take a look around and see if I see a key that looks like our keys that
Okay.
I've seen.
Give me an investigation check.
Yes. Better than perception. Well,
Oh, what was it?
it's a 7, but do I want to use my inspiration point to re-roll? Because I literally rolled a 2, so there's like an 80% chance I'll do better. No, 90% chance. I'm gonna re-roll with my inspiration point.
Go on then.
20.
Natural
worth it.
or
No, it's a dirty 20.
dirty 20? Okay. Remind me, which of the keys have you seen so far? So you currently have 2. One from Valhilta, one from the Amber Temple.
Yeah,
One of
I've
them-
seen.
One of them is a common dirty key that you got from Valhilta.
Mm-hmm.
The other is a very ornate key that you got from the Amber Temple. So you've got a common key and a ornate key. Okay.
Yeah, you said when I was passing through there were a couple of keys that caught my eye, so I would have started
Yes.
with those, and if one of them felt magic, then I probably would have yoinked it.
Okay.
Or seen if it looked like the other ornate key or the dirty key.
So just to clarify, the other keys that you've seen have not had a magic aura about them, but they
Mhm.
but
Oh,
one of them has been very distinctive.
Yeah.
One of the keys has kind of had a dragon as a part of the intertwining like that. The base of the key, as it were, if you have the key and the key shaft and the key head, no jokes today. Um,
There's no joke there.
at the base of the key. So if you've got the shaft and the head, and you've got the base,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you happy with
Carry
that?
on.
We follow you.
I'm with you.
You're with that? Okay.
Yeah.
So this bit, the
There are
base,
keys of many different shapes, and they're all fine.
yep. So this shape of this one, okay, we got the base down here, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This part, the base,
Yeah.
is in the ornate key, featured the scene of a battle. It was very ornately engraved, that reflected the battle that took place 300 years ago, and it is silver. Okay. With the 20 roll, you can see a very similar key in gold on the far side of the room.
I'm gonna grab it and run back.
Okay, so it is in what appears to be a relatively well-functioning kind of observation box. It looks like you'll need to lift up this kind of glass sheet so you can take it out.
Make sure you
Okay.
something goes the same weight. Indiana Jones it.
That's a thought. What do I have? What do I have? I'm
You're
going.
in a
It's
room
gold,
full of
right?
keys.
Yeah. Do I see another gold key?
No.
What do
I
I
mean,
have
there
that's the
are-
same size and weight as the key.
I mean, yeah, I mean, in the amount of time that you've got, you can see some that are bronze, and that kind of have a like a golden tint to them, but are definitely not gold. There are none that are the same shape and size.
Does it? So the box looks like it'll actually open.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually functional, unlike everything else here.
Huh.
Perhaps he got it from somewhere else.
You brought this one. If your own boxes don't work, store bought's fine. I'm going to.
Are you proud of yourself, Dogs?
Kate key. Do I switch it with a silver dagger, or do I put a bronze key there? It's really ornate, right? And there's stuff on it, and it's kind of shiny, and the bronze keys aren't going to be. I'm going to put a silver dagger in its place and swap it out that way. And just kind of
Okay.
like, is it in like a cushion where I can kind of push it down into the cushion?
There is a cushion, yeah, there's a cushion.
Yeah, I'm going to push it down really hard into the cushion. Not stabbing it, but like make it kind of like obscured. So if you were just to pass by quickly, it would just be a shiny thing.
Uh-huh.
And I have minor illusion. And I can create a small token. I don't have minor illusion. I have prestidigitation. Damn. Okay, that's fine. Just kidding. I didn't take minor illusion. I took message. Okay. Yep. All right. So I'm just gonna like Indiana
Something
Jones swap it out, stuff the like key or the dagger like down into the pillow, so it's just like vaguely shiny and down into the pillow, and try to make it look like it, kind of like how it was before I touched it, and close the thing and go running on.
Okay.
Unless
so,
it explodes when I open it, because that's always a problem.
First, I'm already dead.
welcome to D&D.
Yeah.
No, you set your plan in motion. Setting your plan in motion is halted at a crucial step. That is opening the box. It is locked.
Okay.
One of these keys opens it.
Saw right through me.
Do I see a key on a key ring nearby?
Yes, there are
I'm gonna try that. Try
like
to open it.
100 of them on the ceiling.
But one like right next to this box.
There is not one that is right next to this box that looks like it will fit this key slot.
Did we? Okay, so I couldn't take Penai's thieves' tools, but I had wanted them.
Hmm.
And we haven't had a chance for me to like stop and poke around to find more.
I mean, you haven't stumbled across any, and you haven't made it clear to me that you wanted to buy any at any point.
Yeah, I mean, like, but yeah, I don't think you could just go to the store and be like, hey, can I buy a lockpick? So, like, I did, but also I haven't gone, like, searching for
Yeah.
rounds to be like, hey, can I have some thieves' tools? Because I'll pay you for them, but. Or at least, like, I've never played where you can just walk into a general, be like, so, can I find a way to break into things and steal stuff?
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't allow you to do that. But,
Yeah, so-
I'm locked out of my house.
I mean,
I would love a
there are
lockpick.
definitely ways to acquire them, but walking
Yeah,
into
but
a
I haven't
general store
gone
is-
through the trouble of doing that, yeah.
yeah.
So. Locked. Shit,
Cast silence and smash it.
that's a thought. A little
Waste
bit
all
more
your spell
obvious.
slots.
Yes, use all your spell slots now.
I'm just gonna go running back to them and tell them what I saw first.
Can you dimension door into it?
No, but I could smash it dimension door out if we decide we're gonna leave. Yeah, I just go running back to them.
Okay, so you make your way back quite easily, and as you arrive back in place, you reappear directly in front of these guys. You see that Dane is like, "What the fuck?" and Susan is busy.
I'm showing
Doodling
I'm
away.
showing her the drawing. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Is it okay?
Oh, it's so good!
Okay.
It took
Why are
her,
you doing
took her
that?
all of a minute.
Am I doing that? Dane told me to. I mean, James told me to.
Because he likes art, and we might be able to distract him for more time if we give him more art.
You think that's a good idea?
So the thing about the art, he's taking your drawings and he's carving people with them, and it's a little suspect. I swear one of those
Like
statues.
statues.
He's making statues,
Okay.
but it looked like one of them moved. And so I think he's making people out of them, or he's got people back there that he's reshaping to look like your drawings. I don't know.
Just put that away.
Also,
But
no
that one's on a
obelisk.
holder though, so no
Yeah, so
obelisk.
maybe put that away because we don't want him to make another one. I don't know what he can do with that. There wasn't an obelisk. There was a key though. There was a key that looked like yours, but it was gold. But I couldn't get to it because it was in a locked box, and I didn't know if we wanted to smash it.
Foiled by locks.
Yeah. So are we gonna go try to trade?
Did it look like? Was it on like a plinth? Okay. Did it look like you could pick up that plinth?
What's a plinth?
Oh, it's like a pillar.
Ah, you could have
It's like
said
a
pillar.
plinth. Yeah, I could.
Okay.
Plinth is like a better word.
Let's
Plinth
look
is
at
a
all the
better
different words for plinths and pillars.
It's like a
Don't worry,
guidance.
guys. Give me half a week and I'll
Plinth
come
is
up
like
with all
a
the different
small-
terminologies and I'll have
Heavy-
images.
Did it look like something I could pick up and carry? I'm
No.
not very strong.
I mean,
I-
it would require maybe one or two people.
Because I
But it
could
was a-
give you a bag of holding that you could take in there, or I could take a bag of holding in there and just whoop, and then walk out with it.
Is it small enough to fit into the bag of holding?
Or the entire display case.
Yeah.
I mean, that depends entirely on what you can put into a bag of holding, I guess. If we're assuming that it's the
Anything.
diameter of a
Anything.
normal.
I think they're
We're
supposed to look
assuming
like
it's the
duffel bags or
diameter-
something.
Yeah, if we're assuming it's the diameter of a normal
Hey.
bag.
You put Penai in there.
He
a little-
tried to use it when he wasn't attuned to
He
it.
could still fit in. That means a plinth with a key on it could.
He's a halfling. No, he's a gnome. He's even smaller than a halfling.
He
Yeah,
was.
Dust in the wind.
Oh
Aw, I forgot.
no! I close my eyes. Dust in the wind.
Dust in the wind.
Can you get me in that room?
I mean, if we're gonna try to steal the key and run, I can just go back in, smash the glass, take the key, and I can get out of this house.
But we could like go and take it without him knowing, and then make the deal and leave.
Can you pick locks?
No, but I could put it in my bag of holding. Just put the whole thing in there and I will smash it later.
What if he realizes that it's gone?
He's got so much stuff.
He's a collector,
He
though.
probably likes all of his stuff, though, yeah.
And this one's in a display case.
Yeah, it's important shit.
How about we try to make a deal with him first? If it goes south, I'll go into that room and grab the stuff and dimension out. And
But how are you going to that room? Because he'll be back in here.
I can like turn around and run into that room, or I can dimension door into that room. Oh, by the way, if you stand in front of him, magic doesn't work. So don't magic in front of him. It's like an eye thing. I don't know everything about it.
Good to know.
What was the other thing you said that I knew? Tom, I was taking notes, but I was trying not to be loud.
Jack. Welcome back, Jack.
And please come back. All the more.
Each of his stalks were reflective of a kind of spell.
Gotcha. So he can magic from his stalks, and his eye negates magic. And also, he can do magic with his eye. Carving the people, it was purple. I don't know if you realized earlier that it was kind of like multicolored, but I don't know if that's going to be important. Guess we'll find out. Yeah. So are we going to try to take it and run? Or...
There's still the whole obelisk thing.
There wasn't an obelisk.
Well, sometimes they've been hidden within other things.
Yeah.
Do I see anything big enough to encase the obelisk? Because all the rooms the collections were of small things.
You did not.
And if you said you saw a statue move, like out the corner of your eye, maybe that was the obelisk.
How did it move, Tom? Did it like facial features move, or did it like statue?
It was the you thought you saw an eye move, but it was in the periphery of your vision, so you weren't entirely sure.
Oh, I thought I saw it looking around. I mean, I guess that could be it. Do those things give life? Feels like it would be kind of the opposite, to be honest.
No, but they can play tricks on your mind.
Shit. Okay, it could have been one of the statues.
Look the same, but they've all been like black and shiny.
All the obelisks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But one was like hidden in something, wasn't it?
If you recall correctly, with your I mean, you've experienced a couple different obelisks. Some of them have been different sizes and shapes. One of them was one of the times you experienced a chest was what was that noise? Is that somebody in the background?
That might have been my back popping when I moved.
Oh, it might have just been a chair moving.
Oh.
What you also remember is that when you met Antoinette way back in the day.
I never met Antoinette.
Correct. That the obelisks appeared to be part of a ritual that required the use of a person.
Yep.
But apart from that, your knowledge is limited to the fact that they all appear to be these stone pillars. These rock-hard stone pillars that seem to have some kind of influence on your sanity if you observe them directly, and require some kind of magical force to destroy them. These rock-hard stone pillars.
Stop it.
Did you guys say that out loud? Did it take a person to make them?
Maybe.
Well, I already said that I thought that he might have been carving people into other people, so it's up to you whether or not you do anything with that.
Well, we've seen one of them get created. It was involving a ritual and a sacrifice of a human or a being.
And it kind of looked like he was carving people from other people, maybe. I don't know. I can talk a lot of beings, but I don't want to put you guys in a position that you're not comfortable with.
Well, I mean, the position we're going to end up in is fighting it, whatever we do. So, if you
How do
got a
you know?
plan, if you got a
He's a
plan that
collector.
avoids that, well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He
So
also said he wanted to keep all of us. So,
yes, so as somebody who has performed many times,
has kept.
you gain. I do have kept people. They're called my servants. When something becomes of value to another person and they obsessively want to consume that person or that product, then they can be swayed by that desire to possess. And I think that he seems to be interested in new things, collecting new things. He doesn't really understand how a lot of this works. And I think that we can talk him into being like field agents for him and bringing him back new and interesting things for his collection and bringing him history on these new and interesting things by trading us for some cool stuff we have right now to take a couple of the things that we like and by promising to bring him stuff back in the future. And if we all stand close enough to each other, but far away from him, then we can just leave if he doesn't like that. Or we can fight him. You can get us out of here, right?
As long as he's
That's
not
God
looking at
stuff. Yeah, but that's God stuff, right? Does that work the same as magic?
me. Yes.
Okay, so we
I
just
think
stand
if
far away
he's-
from him.
If he's looking at any one of us and I try and teleport us out, like, they ain't coming. I'm gonna have another Zenyai situation.
Okay, then the three of you get behind him and you go back to... Are we going to get... Side question. Are we going to continue to call it geese or are we going to start calling it gesh?
Geese.
Geese, okay.
Goise.
So I'll distract him.
I vote on a
The three
name
of you.
change.
The three of you get back to geese and I'll get out.
But do you think he'll not, like, try and come for us after we've left? Or something like that?
And leave his collection?
If we've took something that he really likes? Like a key?
Well, we would ask to trade and we would explain, of course, remember that this key and if you can find the obelisk, I can't sense them like you can, you forget. So if we can determine where those are, we can explain to him maybe that there is somebody who seeks to destroy everything on this island and that they would destroy his collection as well. And part of what brought us here is trying to make sure that everyone and everything here is safe.
That's probably our best bet.
Yep.
Or we just leave because he's really distracted right now. So it's up to you. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to.
No.
So-
Do the first thing. If we just
Okay.
leave, then we achieved nothing but had tea with a horrible bean.
Yeah. Or wine. Some of us had wine with the
Some
horrible
of us
bean.
had wine. Some of us didn't have juicy drink.
Yeah.
Some
To
of
be
us have-
fair, wine is a juicy drink. It's just an older juicy drink.
Yeah, no, what Susan had
That's-
wasn't juicy. Hers was a chunky drink.
Oh, I genuinely made me feel a
Chunky
bit
can still be
nauseous when you were
juicy.
describing it.
Oh,
You did so good. You made us sick. IRL. I have to leave for a second. Why does Tom look? I had to leave for a second. Why? Because his description was so good that it literally made us feel a little bit ill for a second. there.
Sad.
So, we're gonna go try to talk him into trading.
I don't feel like we should go to where he is, just in case he gets, like, all protective over it. Because he had that all sealed off.
Yes. But also, if you are in that area, then you might be able to determine where the obelisk is. Should we shout down to him?
Robert, I think I'm gonna go.
Hey, Robert, is it okay if we come in too?
We're gonna.
Yeah.
I'm
Can we
gonna
go
Oh,
on a
go.
doctor's
collection?
appointment at like
I'm
2 o'clock. I
very-
need to go. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I'm uncomfortable,
You got a
Robert.
dentist appointment at 2:30.
Ah, 2:30.
2:30.
Oh,
My life.
that was-
Mhm.
Okay. So you're gonna shut down to him or make your way downtown walking fast, faces past and you're homebound?
My vote is to walk down.
Yeah, let's do that. The worst that'll happen is you'll disintegrate us.
Yeah, sure.
You don't know that.
I would
I know
like
it's-
to point
Jane
out.
doesn't do that.
I would like to point out that I am not the kind of DM who expects a fight in every single. So you guys being like, "Well, he's gonna disintegrate us. We're gonna have to," is not reflective of my DM style. So if you
No,
don't start a fight, sometimes it won't happen.
It's very
Can I
difficult.
point out that I said
Historically-
exactly that?
Started.
It's very
fights
difficult.
quite
We've-
frequently.
Me and Docs have played this campaign for 2 years, and we know that in every situation we've been in, we've had to fight. Usually, there's not many situations with Penai
However,
that we've had to leave
I was gonna say-
nicely.
Yeah.
I would just like to point out the majority of those have been either because of Penai,
yeah.
or because the characters that you are playing are religious folk who have
Strong
important-
opinions on
strong
Strong
opinions,
opinions.
yes, and ideals which require you to stand up to people who don't
Yeah.
always need to be fought.
And then there's
Uh,
Hyacinth, who's of like moderately good moral fiber, but who really talk people into things.
Exactly.
And so that makes her a little more chaotic good than lawful good for nature.
So unless you guys have an obsession with murdering,
I do like fire. Well, no, I don't like fire.
No, you don't like
Hate
that.
fire.
Yeah, no. Kind
That's
of
the
the
opposite of liking something.
that is the opposite of liking.
So we're gonna walk down.
Yep.
Happy with that,
See if
Susan?
you can.
Well, I'm pretty reluctant, but yeah, I'll follow if everyone else is going.
See if you can tell where the obelisk is while we go.
So far, how are each of the party members feeling about Robert and your interaction with him?
I feel like I can talk him into it. My plan.
So do you feel like he's a bit gullible or stupid or?
Not gullible or stupid. He's fixated.
Okay.
Collectors fixate.
Mhm.
Nothing matters more than their collection.
Dane feels like he's kind of on the edge of madness, or like on the edge of being snapped at any like second, and like the tiniest thing will just set him over the edge, and he'll go into like a rage kind of thing.
Okay,
Just
sure.
expecting that at every second.
What does Susan think about Robert?
Well, I assume because of the obelisk and stuff, she's feeling pretty nauseous and
Mm-hmm.
sickly, along with the drink that happened.
Yes, the chunky juice.
The chunky juice, she's feeling pretty nauseous, so she's not like, she kind of just doesn't want to be here. like I'm sure he's a nice guy, but it's not a good situation.
Correct.
I'm sure he's a nice boulder. He's a nice monstrosity.
Sure, I want to like him, but I feel
Okay.
terribly sick.
Okay. And you feel alright in real life. I haven't actually made you feel ill. You're okay.
No, it did make me feel
Yeah,
a little
no,
bit
fine.
nauseous when you were describing the skin on the drink, but now I'm fine.
That was a little.
Okay.
I was like, oh god, I'm gonna get sick thinking about having to drink this.
Yeah,
just,
but
just
I
making sure. Just making.
I got wine, so we're good.
Okay. Okay. Right. Well, Casimir, stood at your side, is well, he was marveling first hold at the drawing of the beholder.
Oh, I thought he was
Um,
marveling at Hyacinth's plan. Okay, or the drawing the
But
beholder.
now he's see that one hand is on the pommel of his sword and the other is on his hilt, and he whilst his sword is in his sheath, and he says, "Do I need this? Are we finally going to kill this abomination?"
He's a monstrosity, not an abomination. And as a last resort, these are very dangerous. Very, very dangerous.
So I need this sword or not need the sword?
Not unless it becomes very clear, i.e., we are actively engaging in combat.
When
Then
you
will
roll
need the sword.
initiative, then
Initiative?
The safe word is
This sounds
pineapple.
like something. This seems like something that.
Pineapple.
If I yell pineapple, draw your sword.
This seems like something that Jennifer would say, but not Susan. I do not know what initiative is. Yeah, you
Initiative is how quickly you react to something, or how much like energy or effort you put into responding to something. You take the initiative. You are first responder. We
That's
taught you a
not
word
funny.
today, Casimir. Shush. This is Hyacinth explaining this to Casimir.
Okay. Okay. Yes, you did teach me a word today. Thank you. Okay, so I put hand away from
Yeah, play it cool.
swords.
Mhm.
Okay. It's all about waiting your turn, okay, you NPC?
Jenga! Oh, I should have made the safe word Jenga. Darn. We're changing
Okay.
it. It's Jenga now.
Update, guys. New safe word.
And you say, okay, but this is making me very uncomfortable. Not this aberration. It makes me feel.
It's a monstrosity.
Me too.
It's aberration. I had to check the.
Is it really? I thought it was a monstrosity.
Aberration. It's not an
My bad.
abomination or a
Oh,
monster.
good. That means I'm. How long does protection against good and evil last?
10 minutes.
Yes. Oh, well. I still probably have. How long have we been talking?
Oh no, you're still within.
Yes.
You still got maybe 5 minutes left.
That's what she said.
I can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by it. Let's go.
Still maybe got 5 minutes left. Wait.
That is assuming that it's not immediately removed by an anti-magic cone.
That's what she said.
What happened to the no sex jokes thing?
That's not a sex joke.
That's actually.
No, because I literally said that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go-
okay.
go
Well,
on,
she did-
come
she
on.
Should we
did
take
say
a
that.
quick?
Mind out the
Like-
gutter.
Should we take a quick 5-minute break before we go and have our showdown?
I mean,
Perhaps.
we're probably going
this-
to stop in like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
this
just
is,
kidding.
Yeah, this is we're getting close to ending time. Although
All right,
I
let's go
appreciate
talk to
your,
Robert.
So, you begin walking down the hallway. This is the first time that you guys have been in the room with stuffed animals, and you get a chance to really admire the handiwork. You notice, and I say this specifically as a group thing, but in reality it's more of a Susan thing, because Susan's passive perception is higher than everybody else's. That's why. Don't worry about that. You notice that each of the individual animals, again, like some of them have different styles, they look handmade. They look like they are quite intricate pieces. Some of them look very basic. Some of them look like very vague. Like, for example, the fox looks like kind of just an orange stretched out piece of fabric that has legs and like a fluffy white bit at the end of the tail. Whereas you see that the beholder itself, you see on one end of the wall is this huge circular plush. It has kind of fluff and hair all over it that looks like it's been individually kind of sewn in, which looks to you like expert craftsmanship. Some of these look like things that you might find a toy on you might find a little kid playing with. Some of these look like collector items that have been bespoke crafted by expert artisans. Some of them look like absolute shite. But some of them, the majority look like they're coming from different fabrics, different styles of creation, and that kind of thing. As you move on to the next room, you find yourself filled with the cutlery. I don't know if there are any odd bits and bobs that you haven't got in your inventory that you need for your pancake, but
Just scooping it
here's
up
your-
with the bag of holding. Can I have enough cutlery?
Papa's bottles and cutlery.
In
Bjork.
the next room, you have all the ties and the neck doodads. And you find that on the far side of the room, you actually see there are some fake beards, just in case you're tempted.
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
What, the fake beard? No, I'll have mine that's full of, like, beholder spit.
To be fair, you also see next to the fake beards there are some gold ringlets that you, as a dwarf, will recognize that you can use to kind of tie into your beard that get woven in. And
Beard
actually,
decorations.
a couple of them look really finely made, to the degree where you're a little bit. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, the fear is currently overriding.
The curiosity. Okay.
Does he have any like you know, you can get those like skull caps to make it look like you're bald. They have the same thing with the beard.
A beard cap.
I love the idea of like fancy beard extensions being like lace front beard wefts, like fancy wigs.
Oh, beautiful. Such a trap. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's the meta pigeon. Cool, cool.
So, the meta pigeon,
Yeah, the meta pigeon.
is that from
When people are metagaming.
is that a thing?
Yeah, it's the meta pigeon. It's from
Why is it-
Critical Role.
what- Oh, I was going to say, why is it a pigeon?
I'm really bad at pigeon noises.
No, that's fine. That is a perfectly fine. That's a completely adequate pigeon noise. You know, it's not amazing, but it's not bad.
No.
Not by any means. It's completely
Yeah.
adequate.
And there's nothing wrong with an adequate pigeon noise.
No, that's totally fine. It's
That's
exactly
what
what it
she
is.
said.
It's fine. That's what she said. She did literally just say that, yeah.
I did say that. I did say that.
Oh, it's a crit roll thing. Okay.
I just said that. Also, I said that.
She said
Oh, did you? Oh, I'm
She
sorry.
Yes.
said that.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, so as Hyacinth's eye is drawn now, she's had a little to scan the room to a wonderful silk shawl that she thinks would look amazing with her autumn collection. You can see that there are some kind of tassels in the corners that look like they are interwoven with gold gilding kind of frills that look absolutely completely in this season. And is she
So
tempted? Is there a
vintage.
little bit of a tempted there?
No, she's not ready to like her. She has a plan,
Mhm.
and she's like, maybe if he's feeling generous, I'll try to negotiate for. But
Okay.
tassels, you say? No, I'm kidding.
Adequate pigeon. Love it.
That's
Okay.
the name of my folk band in college.
So in the next room, you're filled with curiosity at the teacups and saucers, more specifically the saucers that fill the room. And you're just amazed that one person could have so many saucers and so few cups. What a
It's 'cause
life
he's
to lead.
eating all the cups.
Well, he was also eating the saucers earlier, just to clarify that. And in front of you now is the room that leads into where Robert is busily working away. It looks like he has finished with this room and actually created another. What you notice is different about this room now is that the four statues, again, the parchments are still hanging in the air, but it appears that they are whereas previously, Hyacinth, you would have noticed that the parchments were kind of like fluidly kind of floating. It now looks like they are kind of somewhat frozen in time. They are completely solid and kind of pulled taut. However, here you can notice that the statues they do completely reflect the drawings. And Susan and Dane, you are looking at statues that replicate very cutesy versions of yourselves, as well as your now deceased comrade Penai and your missing comrade Zenyai. You can see them directly in front of you. It's uncanny how similar these statues are. They look exactly like they were torn out of the parchment and put into figures.
Are they still moving?
Well, the movement from before was a vague glint of life behind one of the eyes, and with a passive perception of 16, I can tell you that Susan is very, very conscious of the fact that now all four of them, much more fully formed than they previously were, have some glint of life about them. There's definitely something that it kind of looks like, you know, when you see a painting in a room and you walk around and it looks like it's looking at you? It looks like that.
Settling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they still like they're in pain?
Do they what?
Do they still look like they're in pain?
There's definitely something contorted about their facial features. They don't look like the happy, cutesy little images that Susan had created. They definitely have the same cutesy style, but their faces definitely look somewhat grimaced. It looks like the happy smiles that were put on their faces have kind of turned a little bit sour. In the next room, that previously did not exist, you can see the floating body of Robert. I say that in a he is a body and he is
Did
floating.
you say that he's bobbing in the air?
Oh! Behold, Robert bobbing in the air.
Should I get an inspiration point for that?
Are you guys gonna rob him? But what you see is that the room that he is currently in is still fluid. It looks like part of the creation process that he is utilizing is this whole liquid, fluid material that is being manipulated by him. The floor is still liquid. The walls look like they have not quite taken shape yet. And Susan and Dane, both of you feel nauseous at the
Wait.
that's not necessary. You feel nauseous at the just at being close to this, but you can see is the floor lava. The movement and the texture of the floor and the walls and the room itself as it falls reminds you very much of there's some kind of tainted texture in the air, in the kind of energy that it gives off that makes you feel very much like it's related to the obelisks.
Oh my
And
god!
now that you
Bob's
focus
an
on it
obelisk.
slightly more, now that you focus a little bit more on like you reflect upon it slightly more, you realize that actually the entire tower has had a very slight kind of tinge of that, but it's not been enough of a powerful scent, as it were, or a taste that you would have noticed it until now. But now it's kind of a bit like, you know, the difference between having a loaf of bread and giving it a little bit of a sniff as you eat it, compared to walking into a bakery and you're just surrounded by it. And now, you know, walk out of the bakery and you got a piece of bread and it smells real nice because it smells like a bakery. Whereas now you are overloaded with this scent. Pobelisk. Are they nauseous at the overwhelming amount of? They are nauseous at the. So as we know, Susan and Dane are religious types. We've got Susan being a paladin of Ilmater, and Dane being a cleric of Lathander. They both get their powers from their deities, and they both have much more of an attunement with the balance of good and evil than anybody else that non-religiously inclined, or even the religiously inclined, but those who are not attuned with their gods in a way that gives them strength. And that attunement gives them a quite visceral sense of good and evil. And in this case, it is a very visceral sense in that it makes you kind of want to throw up a little bit. It is one hell of a disadvantage. It is a disadvantage in the presence of evil, unless you're looking for evil, in which case it's a massive advantage over someone who does not have this trait.
When we were
I don't feel safe, but I don't know what I'm doing.
when we were going past the room with the statues in,
Yep.
Could I focus on my like evil tinglies then, just to see?
If you'd like to, yeah.
Yeah.
And we also forgot the key room. You also went through the.
Well, it's within 60 feet, right? So. Good.
So you want to focus on your evil tinglies.
Yeah.
So that gives you a sense of fiends, celestials, or undead, right?
And evil or good. Or wait, I think you do it differently.
Yeah, I mean, reading from the textbook, it's fiends, celestials, and undead.
Yeah.
And it does not give you the tinglies of those. However, doing that does make you even more aware of the presence of an obelisk, though you're beginning to realize that the sense is not so much. It's not localized in the same way that you would expect.
Right. Okay. That's what I was
You begin to
looking for.
think that perhaps the obelisk
It's the whole tower.
isn't
the
a
obelisk?
physical, just an obelisk like this. You think that maybe its entity is spread.
Oh, it's been like turned to powder and used to build something.
Oh, so much effort.
Okay, so
God
I'm
damn.
so sorry.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
two thoughts come to mind. The whole tower is an obelisk, or he ate it.
But if you ate it, it would destroy it, and that would surely diminish its
Does
power.
he have a digestion system?
He has
We
big
don't
teeth.
know.
Big
Yeah,
magical
but-
teeth.
And on that note,
The tower is an obelisk. Dang it, Katie. We continue our link time.
and
Time
on
and
that-
time again.
Oh, yeah. Hey guys, I know we were joking about the sex jokes thing.
You cut out all at the end there. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
I said I know we were joking about the no sex thing, the no sex joke thing, but we actually did all right today.
We got so
You
much
made-
accomplished and we didn't stop at 5 6. Imagine that.
Oh my goodness.
You wait until the next episode. You're gonna
Yeah.
have twice as many.
Episode 70. We're not even gonna play D&D. It's just gonna be just a big old like role play.
Innuendo. One big
The
innuendo.
whole thing. We'll zoom out at the end, and it'll. Just
Robert
be
has
innuendo.
sex with everybody.
Oh, with what? No.
Casimir volunteers his tribute.
He's already sexed your face with his tongue.
Yeah, I know. Somebody look up on Rule 34. Behold it.
Oh.
I smell Bob and Ken.
Oh.
Robert reads his horse erotica collection.
Oh,
You should have had a
God.
room full of horse erotica.
I so badly wanted to. I was like, no, be good.
Be good.
Be good.
Next
sex
episode,
jokes.
though.
No
Yeah.
sex jokes. We come back and then all the rooms have changed. And one of them's just
The
filled with
keys have all just
dildos.
turned into like penises. Like a penis museum, like they
he's
have in
just-
Iceland.
He's just got loads of dildos.
How
Yeah.
could we not see these with dildos before?
We were blinded by our desire for
You mean the
keys.
keys?
To keep
my
to something.
Keep to something.
Back
Oh,
massagers.
baby.
Personal massagers, Dave. They're called personal massagers.
Oh my god. Right, okay. I think we can call that quits. I got like a bunch of messages, DMs from people during that game, on Twitch. I think some of them might have been about that
That website.
that website.
Mm.
Worldanvil.com.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I haven't had a chance to look at those yet, but
Next week we find out Robert has a red room. A red room like he read those books. It's a
Yes.
library.
Yes.
it's a reading room.
Mhm. No, red because he read them all.
Yes, exactly. Like that. Good. Okay, right. But let's call it here, shall we? Do you want to maybe raid someone?
Yeah, let's have
Yeah.
a look.
Spread the love a little bit.
Well, then, I
Open
mean,
for
you guys
adventure,
have a
I think
look
I
because I can't do anything on my computer without it. Having a
That's a fair
meltdown.
point. Okie dokie.
Let me see if Open for Adventure is still going because we were going to do them last week.
We did them last week.
Well, they were. I mean, yeah, but they like ended, didn't they? Oh no, they kept
No,
going.
they were on.
That was something else. They were on Be Right. Bleh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop. You go. I'm gonna stop. I don't know.
Night Goldfinch.
Good night,
Yeah.
Goldfinch. Yeah, they're still streaming now.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing.
Yeah, let's do those guys. Oh, it's a campaign
Who
premiere.
are they called? What's the channel name? Sorry.
I'm just gonna put it in Twitch
Okay,
chat.
thank you.
Oh no, I can't
Yeah.
because I don't have it open.
do
I'll do it on
it.
Discord. Okay.
Pin for adventure.
That's the one.
Check I spelled it right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for chilling,
Yay.
guys. See you
Bye,
next week. Are we
everybody.
playing next week?
I'm up for it
I'm
next
not
week.
here on Sunday.
Dogs isn't here.
Damn it! I mean, we
Dogs.
can still play.
We
But,
could do Wednesday, maybe.
We could probably do Wednesday if you wanted to do that. That's Jenny's face of like, God, fucking damn it.
No, I don't mind.
What are you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm going away.
Oh,
Going to a conference
oh, fancy
in
bitch.
London.
God damn it.
A conference.
A conference.
Conference.
I rolled my eyes so many times.
1, 2, and 3.
Okay, let's go.
Bye everyone. Raid. Go.
Bye.
See you, bye.